Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is September 12th, 2024, and we have a lot to talk about. Today I am doing my Alice in Wonderland nails, and I'm kind of sad because some of my packages came a day late, which pushed me back a day on being able to record and do my nails. And then also one of the charms did not come in either of the packs. Usually I order duplicates, and the same charm was missing from both packs. So I have one coming hopefully tomorrow, and then I have another one also coming tomorrow, and I'm hoping one just gets here before the other so I can go ahead and finish. Okay, so I kind of have an idea of what I want to do today, but we're starting from the beginning from scratch. Okay, so I want to get all of this out of the way so I can tell you guys about how we went to London for 192 US dollars. Yes, okay. Points are very important, but we'll get into that in a second. Okay, so first of all, this is not a paid promotion. I do my nails only. I'm not a licensed nail tech. I think by now I would have to say after about a year, I probably have to say I call myself a nail tech just because that's the technique that I'm learning to do. But so far as being a professional and doing other people's nails, I don't. Okay, also, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to share about, well, I am going to share about the different credit cards, but if I'm going to put the link to my videos where if you go to those videos in the description box, there are links for referrals, and you just get different things if you get approved for the different credit cards, or if I'm going to put it onto this video. And I'm not even quite sure if that would make this video considered a paid promotion, and then I'm not monetized either, right? So I don't know. I'm thinking it'd be safer for me to put the link to my other video, and then if you don't want to watch it, I mean, obviously it's left up to you, but in the description box, I already have those referral links to different credit cards. Okay, so I got to figure out how to do that, because later on, if I put the links here, it could present a problem, even though I don't get anything from the credit card companies either, unless you get approved. Okay, so I think I'm safe right now, so long as I don't put those links down in this description box for this video. So I got to figure that out. I got to do more research on that. Okay, so you might not see that added until later. Okay, so also I'm going to start with the nail prep, and I'm starting from scratch, okay? And then I always have something happen like within 2 to 3 months after I get going really good to where I have to stop doing my nails for like 2 to 3 months. And so even though I started last year, I only have, I don't know what I said in my last video. I don't even remember. I only have, let's say, to be safe, maybe about, I don't know, like 7 to 10 months that I've actually been doing my nails. And I keep looking at that spot on the floor, and that's, keep thinking, is that a bug? And it's not. I don't know what it is, like a piece of foam or something like that. I'll get it later. But in between when I take my nails off, because I think I told you guys in my other videos, if you've seen my other videos, if you haven't, I'm a beginner. And so I just share my nail journey. And please forgive me because I am just getting over being sick. Okay, so I got really, really sick before we left. I only had about a week to get better before we left. And then I got sick the last day in London, like that evening, and so I ended up having to travel back into the US seriously sick, and I wasn't the only one that got sick, and so we've been fighting to try and get better. This stuff is really sticky. Usually I have all this stuff off my nails, but like I said, when I take my nails off, because eventually the thicker builder gel that you're going to see later in this video, it gets loose, and so I've noticed that it lasts me for some nails 2 weeks, some nails 3 weeks, and some are in between, but I don't kind of mind that because it's almost like I put press on nails. And since these are soft gel nails, I do want to say that. I'll tell you a little bit more about them when I get them over here on the counter, but you can soak them off. But what I found is the thicker builder gel gets loose, that you actually end up not having to do that, and they come off like press-ons, okay, especially if you hit them. Okay, so the good thing about it is if you hit them, even if they bend down like over your finger and back, it'll do it so fast and it won't hurt as bad. And so I also found that, of course, the nail doesn't end up breaking. I mean, by the time you have powder charms on them and stuff like that, and then it doesn't, like I said, hurt as much. I'm not going to tell you it doesn't hurt. And the other thing is it doesn't get loose and it doesn't pop off. Okay, so I really like the soft gel nails and the thicker builder gel that I'm using with this kit. Okay, so I was going to do one hand like I used to do like a long time ago. I would actually do one hand first, and then I would start recording when I would get to the second hand. And then I'm always pressed for time. You're always going to hear me say that at some point during the videos. And so I started out thinking, you know what, do the first hand on video, pause, and then do the next video. Or not the next video, but do the next hand and then unpause. And then I like to decorate at the end. So if you like to do your nails, then I mean, you'll probably be with me for a while doing the same thing I'm doing. I watched several different videos over the past year, and it's really helped a lot. Me and half cover tips do not get along. They don't want to stay on no matter what I use. Nail glue, I use the step 2 base. You guys will see that later. The products I use usually are from Not Polished. I haven't tried too many other different products. And so I was gonna say, and also hopefully you guys can hear me. I think I did another video and I didn't upload it. Like I actually re-recorded that video about 3 or 4 times. The last video, I think you guys, if you saw it, and so you guys did not see me do this part, and I know this part takes a minute, but I think for beginners, like as such as myself, it's really important so you can see kind of from the beginning what to do. And some stuff I'm going to tell you like you're not supposed to do it, but I do it anyway, and some stuff I have cut out. I'm not sure why this isn't turning on. And so let's see, I do opposite too. Like I think this is supposed to be the forward hand, left hand, right hand supposed to be, I think, the reverse. And some people say like it depends on what hand you usually use. But if it's supposed to be that way all the time, even that's opposite for me. I do reverse on my left hand and I do forward on my right hand with the drill. And I don't use the drill very often because now I use full cover nails. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is, okay, so I'm going to share some things I learned. And so if they're not correct, then I'm still learning. And these are things I heard on other videos, so don't quote me on some of this stuff. But what I'm doing right now is I'm removing the cuticle, and that's why I push back. And you're not pushing back your cuticle, you're actually pushing back, I think, what's called the skin folds. There is another term for it, an actual term that is used, like what it's called, but I can't remember what it is, and I know I can't pronounce it, but that's what you're pushing back. So it's also called the skin fold. You're not pushing back the cuticle. The cuticle is the sticky white skin underneath that you're trying to remove because that helps with lifting. And I have found I have such sensitive nails that let me leave this over here. Sometimes I use a brush and sometimes I don't. But I can't do what's called feathering. Feathering is where you would see a person using a sanding band. And the sanding bands are, I guess you can say when you're putting it on, this is called an E-file, your drill. Okay, the E stands for electric. And so they'll take a sanding band. Usually they say like you don't want to go with a grit higher than 180. So if you don't know, with hand files and with sanding bands, the higher the number, the finer the grit. Okay, so I have found that 180 is still too much of a grit. I use 240 if I use it to do this, but the hard thing about using a sanding band is it's not round like this. And you'll see probably some videos that tell you not to use this circle ball drill bit on your nail. It's supposed to be for on your skin, but that hurts. Okay, so I don't do that. And if my nails lift a little bit more than what they should, I kind of don't mind because I don't want to sit there and have to try and soak stuff off. Okay, so this is a carbide. I think I'm saying that right, drill bit. And my voice might go in and out. If I have to, I'll pause so I can kind of try and get my voice back. But yeah, you're not supposed to use carbide drill bits on your nails. This is from McCart. It comes with 10 drills. It has, I think it's like 2, maybe, we'll say maybe 3 safety bits in there. But the key thing to remember is the safety bit doesn't mean that you're not going to cut yourself. It just means like it's safer to use. The top of it's rounded. But yeah, oh, the feathering. So let me finish with that. So the reason why I don't really do the feathering over my nail, or I try not to even take a hand file and file over like the surface of my nails, because my nails get really thin. And no, I haven't found out yet. I don't have that update yet of how many layers are our nails. Is it 1? And you can just end up thinning it if you're not careful, or is it more than 1? I just know that my nails get really thin if I do the feathering. And the feathering is to get rid of the shine on the surface of your nails so that the product sticks more. But I've found that my nails can't take that. So the only time that I will ever do that, which you might not ever see on camera, is when I'm taking the nails off. And if I notice that there's ridges in my nails, because also the other thing is, especially if you use a fine grit sanding band, you end up smoothing the surface of your nail, and the whole point of going over your nail with a sanding band and doing that feathering is to give it kind of a textured surface. So you kind of don't want your nails to have a smooth surface when you're getting ready to glue on the nails. I just went to the wrong finger. I already finished that one. Whether it's half cover or full cover nails, but I say, do I want to do that, or do I want to have my nails looking like a jigsaw puzzle and having to wait until they grow all the way out like I did about a couple months ago? And so the trade-off for me is, even though I don't do the feathering with the sanding band, I don't do a lot to my nails, and it's just better for me personally. So it's left up to you if you want to do that to create that texture on top of your nails, but I found that that just doesn't work for me. So like I said, if I see ridges when I take all of it off, then I might do that just a little bit. And I found the 240 sanding band is better for me for doing that feathering over the whole surface of my nail. And sometimes I try and remove some of the cuticle then. Even though usually I keep my nails off for about a week before I do them. So as you can see, I don't do a lot of nail prep at all. And that was one of the things that Not Polish wanted to make sure that they did, was with the Press X kit, because they have a Press It kit, but with their Press X kit, with their soft gel nails, they purposely make them so you would have the least amount of nail prep as possible for your natural nails. Okay, so that's why, oh, I put way too much alcohol. The bottle is pretty full, but that's why you also see me not doing a lot of nail prep at all. If you noticed, I'm using, like I said, 70% alcohol. This is a no lint wipe. They come from Young Nails, and it comes in a big box. It looks like a big roll of toilet paper in little pieces you can rip off. Okay, so right before I put on my nails, that's literally all I do. Okay, so and like I said, sometimes if my nails are smooth like that, I don't feather over them with the sanding band, even when I take everything off. And then I use a 9-in-1 nail aid. I get it from Walmart in the cosmetics section to kind of help my nails. And I think it has like avocado oil. It has, let me make sure this top is on here too. This, I might, you know what, maybe let me move this out of the way. I'm going to keep that, but I'm going to move this. But I think it's avocado oil, almond oil, keratin, and a lot of other things. And so it really is, it could be a top coat. It can be your base coat. It is a nail aid. It aids your nails. And if you had ever seen my nails, like the last time I messed them up, I think from just filing over them too much, you would be surprised. Okay, yeah, it did take about a month and 3 weeks for me to get my hands to look back by this. And like I said, I've been back to doing my nails for about a month and a couple weeks. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. Every time I turn my drill off, I always end up needing it for some reason. But yeah, so far as when I get ready, right before I put the nails on, no, that's it. Okay, so I'm going to keep the camera rolling. Everything else is behind me. The nails, I'm going to show you the nails, and we're going to glue them on right now, and then we'll go to the dip part. Okay, so let me set everything up before I finish telling you guys I don't need this anymore. The cuticle pusher, not for now. Okay, so here's the setup. You can buy all of this stuff separate. Oh, the company is Not Polish. I think I mentioned that already, but that's the actual name of the company. So I'm not saying that I'm not using Polish. Their name is Not Polish, and their website is all lowercase, notpolish.com. Okay, it's spelled exactly how it sounds. But the other thing that I like about this is they said you're supposed to be able to put these nails on in 3 steps. Okay, so be careful with this. This is heavy. This little light, I love this. This actually fits, and you know what? Let me show you real quick. I ordered this from Amazon, and I know now if I stand up, because I'm filming a little bit lower, that you can't see me if I stand up like all the way, but I ordered this from Amazon. I ordered this a long time ago for like a big pair of sunglasses, And as you can see, that's magnetic on the back, so that's why it's stuck to it. But this fits in here, and it fits in here with the cord. So if this is the cord that it comes with, it's a big box that this comes in, and then the nails and this stuff comes in a separate box. Okay, so if you order the kits, or if you want to order everything separate, I think the light by itself is $48, and then you can order, like I said, the bond, the primer, everything separate or all together. And all together, I think it's still like $98. But you know, if you can catch a sale, that's great. So I'm gonna try and see if I can get it to the angle. And then with the thicker builder gel, I just want to make sure I mention it's really slippery. It's not as thick as other, let's say, nail glue, gel nail glue. And so it's a little bit more running. And so you're going to see me kind of struggle a little bit. I'm actually used to doing my left hand with my right hand done already. So these are let me close this. This is the box. Okay, it says press X. There's 14 different sizes. And I'm letting you guys know, just in case, for those who have not seen any of my nail videos. Okay, so there's 14 sizes. The sizes go from 0 to 14. And there are, I'm sorry, I said 0. Let me check, that's actually 1. I'm used to saying 0 because most boxes start with 0, right? Let me get a nail out and double check that. I'm sorry, 1. The sizes go from 1 to 14, and then the half sizes are 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so that makes a total of 14 different sizes, and they have different shapes. This is the natural square long, and they're not as long, I don't think, as the ones they had in their Press It kit. I don't know, I've never ordered that kit, but I have seen the nails. I think they're still out of stock because they do sell those nails separate. And I think they're longer than these, but I found that these are about as long as I want them, and I usually cut them. Okay, so I have a little cheat sheet. I bought this packet from Walmart, the little Post-it note, and it has a little bit sticky underneath, like the whole thing, kind of. So it will stick to this and it wouldn't be flapping. And so I don't want to keep having to try to remember like the sizes of my nails. Okay, so let's see, I'm doing the left hand, and I wrote it the way the hand is. Okay, so I need a 9 for the pinky. This should be a 9. Yep. I don't know what this stuff is over here. Maybe it came from the box where it was sitting. And I'm going to put it in order from left to right like that. Okay, so a 6.5 for my ring finger. But yeah, I like these because, so they made them where they are thinner in the cuticle area. And then I know you can't see this, but the tip, okay, is thicker. And so that's one of the reasons why I think they said that you'll have less time for nail prep. Okay, so they're made very well. They don't bend a lot, which I actually like, because that's a 6. I need a 7 for my pointing finger, index finger, same thing, right? But yeah, that's a 5.5. Let's see. I remember go this way with the numbers at the bottom. So this should be a 7. But yeah, so I like them. If you want something that's a little bit more flexible, these might not be, you know, your taste. But for me, I think a part where, and tear this little piece off, you guys didn't see that. For me, I like them when even if it's half cover, where they're not that bendable. Okay, I like them to be stronger than that. So let me double check my numbers. So we have a 9, a 6.5. Oh, that's a 6. That's for the middle finger. What is this? They're both 6s. Okay, let me put that back. That should be a 6. I'm glad I double checked. I usually don't double check. I just close the box and start. Okay, I remember I gotta go backwards. So if that's 7, this is 6.5. Okay. Okay, there we go. So there's the ring finger. The 6 is for the middle. And then give me a second, you guys. 7, and then a 3 for my thumb. My thumb's always a 3, like even the half sizes. Okay, so let me close this because I will knock this over and knock this stuff all over the place. I love the box. I love the packaging. The perfect size. So yeah, they're soft gel. They're not plastic. Let's see. I'm gonna put this here. And with this, oh, that's upside down. You have to push the button first. I think like you can't just see that. You can't just tap it. So you have to push the button first and then tap it to turn it off. And it's not censored. See? Okay, so I think that's a good thing more so than a bad thing. Well, except for it's really sensitive, as you guys can see once you push that white button. But you want to get this angle however you want to. And this little piece up here actually rotates. I learned that, so be careful with that. And I'm sorry if this is like super close in your face because I can't tell what you guys can see because you guys know I record by myself. Well, if you've never seen my videos, you don't know that. But most of the time, 98% of the time, I record by myself. Okay, so hopefully I'll be able to get that over there and use it and not have this in the way. All right, so 3 steps. But yeah, so anyway, how did we, take this trip? Well, at least the flight for 2 people, round trip, both flights were nonstop for $192 US, and you're probably thinking you haven't gotten back to that yet. And then also, I'm going to tell you guys really quick, they said not to use a lot of this product, of any other products, and you want to be careful. And if you're doing other people's nails, then you want to wear gloves. Okay, so they advise you not to get any of this like on your skin, your fingers and stuff like that. So just be careful with it. It's pretty runny, it's not thick. It's not like gel polish or anything like that. This is almost like, feels like you're painting water on your nails. But yeah, so points. Okay, so it's really important for me to explain this. So if you go to any airline website, like if you, let's say you're not going to do your nails right now and you know how to like minimize this window so you can still hear me and look. If you go to Southwest, if you go to United, oh, they're tarring the street. Just my luck to get pushed back a day and have them tar the street. So if you hear like a annoying humming noise, that is actually the truck going by. I thought they were done at the end here and they're back. Okay, so that was the bond. It says pH bond on here, and on their other bottle, it doesn't say that. The other bottle was white. And I don't know if there's a pH for that. I think the pH stands for pH balance, right? Okay, so the primer, you're supposed to let it dry. It's called prime time. It doesn't say how long on the bottle. It does not say how long on the website. So we have a second to where I can kind of focus a little bit, because I know I got into talking about the airlines and then I kind of stopped. But while I'm letting this dry, I can go ahead and focus on that. Okay, so when you go to the different websites, like I said, Southwest, United, and you sign up for their account, to have an account with them, it's free. It's not a credit card. And every time you book a flight, okay, even if you're booking it for work, because most likely the flight has to be in your name anyway, the ticket, right? You go to your account with Southwest or with United, and then you log in, and then you book your flight. Okay, so you can build up points. Okay, and I can tell you with Southwest, it does not take a lot of points to fly. They fly to Hawaii and within the US. I don't think they fly overseas. And the reason why I mention that is because they're the only airline that I'm aware of where you don't pay for your seat, your carry-on, or either of your check bags. But they are going to start where they're going to have assigned seating, and hopefully they're not going to start charging for it, because I think that's where they kind of, win in the market of the airline companies. Okay, so yes, every time you book your flight, no matter why you're booking it, you want to go into your account and you want to log in and you want to accumulate points. Okay, so for Southwest, it's called Rapid Rewards. And for United, it's something long. It's like United Miles Plus Rewards or something like that. Okay, so in addition to that, there are different credit cards I'm going to tell you about. Okay, so first, we're going to start with the big one, the one that you're going to say, ouch, because you guys know, if you've ever seen any of my credit videos, some of my super early videos, like 2 or 3 years ago, my number one rule, one of them was to not have a card that has an annual fee. Okay, especially if it has a big one, because that charges directly to your credit card. But this one's worth it. Okay, so the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, there's so many things that it offers, but we're going to focus on the travel part. Okay, so because we're talking about the points, using the points and combining all your points together to be able to take these flights at these cheaper prices. Because with United, you pay for your seat, you pay for your carry-on. I was like, wow, carry-on, really? You pay for your check bag, the first one and the second one. And if you fly overseas, it's more. Okay, so if you fly overseas, I don't know if it's to other countries, but I can tell you to London, okay, it's $75 for the first check bag, and it's $100 for the second check bag. Okay, so you want to figure out how you can get everything kind of included in your ticket price if you can. Okay, so that's why I'm mentioning this credit card first. Okay, so with this card, Chase Sapphire Reserve with the R, okay, you accumulate points. Okay, I don't think it's miles. It's kind of awkward. It's a travel card, but you accumulate points. It's not called miles. But there's a thing called Chase Travel. And when you book with your points with Chase Travel, your points are worth 50% more. It's very important. Now, usually with the airline, I would tell you go directly to that airline and then go ahead and book your flight through them, because with Chase, there's a tendency for the flights to cost more and for you to need an outrageous amount of points to book a flight. But this time we got lucky. Okay, we actually did go through and look at the airlines. Okay, and we knew we had to fly United. Okay, so we wanted to Chase Travel. We put in where we were going. Okay, we wanted a nonstop flight. We went from Jersey to London. And then when we picked, we wanted United because there's different airlines you can pick from. Okay, I think this is dry enough. We can go ahead and start. Okay, I was just trying to give it time not to dry because there's no written record of it that I have found yet so far to know. Okay, so this is step 3. Oh, and if you shake any of these bottles, they tell you to wait. Even your step 2 base, your super base with not polished, they tell you to wait for 30 minutes because some of the bottles they tell you that not to shake them because you can create bubbles. And so they think within 30 minutes, or I think other people said within 30 minutes, the bubbles should go away. Okay, so you're gonna find with your nail polish and your gel polish, you kind of somewhat don't have a choice, right? But try and shake it 30 minutes before you use it. And regular polish, you're probably okay if you shake it in between painting. Okay, so I'm debating. It's usually easier for me to do my thumb, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the pinky. Okay, so let's see here. I'm like, here we go, right? And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and get it to where it'll start on its own again, because I think it times out to where you have to push that button again. Is it on? Let's see. No, oh no, it counts down if it's on. Okay, so yeah, so we went in, we picked United, we picked the days, and then we picked that we wanted nonstop. And then it gave options. Okay, so option number 1 was your seat, your carry-on, and your check bag were not included. And I had enough points to where it got down to $52 US. Now here's the thing though. Then you have to consider, the seats for both of us, our check bags, we're only gonna take one, and our carry-on is not included in this price. Okay, so we would have to pay for all that when we get to the airport, and we don't want to do that. So option number 1 was out. And then also the ticket was not refundable or exchangeable. Okay, I think I need a little bit more. You can kind of gauge after you do these for a while, but be careful. When you think you need more, you might not, because this is not as thick. But yeah, so we said, okay, option number 1 is out. We're going to look at option number 2. And you're going to say, doesn't it take like 50 or 60,000 points? Yes. Okay, so I had 38,000 points that I had added back up with my card. Okay. And so what I did was the Chase Freedom Unlimited card, I decided, because they kept sending me pre-qualification offers, to go ahead and pick that card and apply. Because if you spend $500 within 3 months, and then come on now, you probably spend it within a week, right? Then they would give you $200. And so I thought, okay, well, they say I'm pre-approved. So if I'm pre-approved, it should go through, and it did. And I just made sure that we spent the $500 within the first 3 months. And so they gave us the $200 within the form of points. Oh, side tip. Number 1, if you've never ever put nails on with the thicker builder gel, it does get kind of hot. Okay, and I think that's because it's curing. And so you want to be careful, because you're going to feel it. You know, there's no way you're not going to be able to feel it, but within a couple seconds, it'll already be dry. So you kind of want to be careful with that. And you're trying to push down and keep the air bubbles out of it. And that one, I did not do a really good job, but at least it's a little bit straighter than what I was expecting to do. Okay, so let's go to the next nail. We're going to do a full cure of 30 seconds after. Usually a full cure is 60, but with these nails, a full cure is 30. So you want to make sure you have your light ready. Okay, so I might as well go ahead and turn this on. Not polished lamps, I guess, light lamp. Both of them sitting there in front of me. But their lamps are preset to 30 seconds when you turn them on. And they have an option of 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 60, and 90. Okay, so, but yeah, so I said, okay, well, we went ahead and we got the 20,000 points, the bonus points. Like I said, it's really not difficult to spend that much in 3 months, the $500. And I was like, oh, it's in the form of points. Okay, so I thought it was going to be like, it was going to say $200 on there, and it didn't. But I happen to know, okay, so points, miles, cash back. If you want to know how much is it worth in money on any of your cards, you take the amount that you have. Let's just say it was the 20,000 bonus points. You divide it by 100, okay, and then you just put a dollar sign in front of it, and that's how much your points, miles, or cash back is worth. And that's the calculation you use for any credit card. Okay, so the thing about Chase Freedom, with it not being it's a good card, it's just not a travel card. I thought, okay, well, I can't use it in Chase Travel. There's a thing called Pay Yourself Back. Maybe I'll discuss that a little bit later. You get 25% more value for your points. And I said, no, I want to book it with the Chase Travel, but I need to get the points over to my Chase Sapphire Reserve card. Can I do that? And the answer was yes. Okay, so there's a thing with the Freedom Unlimited card from Chase. It's called combining your points. Okay, so you can transfer the points to your Chase Sapphire Reserve card. Okay, and I want to say maybe one other person that lives in your house. If not, you can at least transfer your points to yourself. So you're transferring from the Freedom Unlimited card to the Chase Sapphire Reserve card with combining points. Now, if you book for travel, they're worth 50% more, right? Okay, so that's how I got up to the 58,000 points. Okay, so yeah, that Freedom card, the Freedom Unlimited, I didn't even have it yet. Okay, so and then it's $95 a year, but the first year is waived for the Freedom Unlimited for the annual fee. So that's why I went ahead and did it. And then plus, you also want to look at like, okay, if it's not travel, if it's not groceries, if it's not something really specific, if it doesn't fall under a category to earn 3 points or earn 5 points, the lowest amount of points, what do I earn? And with the Freedom Unlimited card, it's 1.5 points instead of one. My voice is going out, with 1 point that you get with Chase Sapphire Reserve. So I thought, okay, plus I have 0 interest on this Freedom Unlimited card for 15 months for purchases. So what I did was I said, okay, I'm going to start anything that won't get me more than the lowest amount of points. I'm going to start using my Freedom Unlimited card because there's no interest. And then I'm going to let those points build up, and then I'm going to combine them onto my Chase Sapphire Reserve card. And that's my plan. That's my whole entire plan for the whole 15 months that I don't have any interest. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, the other nice thing about it is that there's a thing called travel partners. I put too much there and went past the tip of my finger. I think that the tip of your finger, when you get to that point, it's called the free edge. And you don't want if you want to call it the glue to make it easier, but the thicker builder gel to go past, or anything you're using, then you kind of want to watch like how much you put. Okay, but that's okay because it's clear nails and it's going to be covered by powder. But yeah, because once you can't see that, but once you get it there, you're supposed to take it off. But I think that's going to make the nail lift, and I'm going to leave it. Okay, so yeah, there's like 10 to 13 airline partners with Chase Sapphire Reserve. Southwest and United are one of them. And why am I mentioning that? Because you can transfer the points to your partners. Now, this is where it gets into, you want to have signed up with Southwest at their website, the airline website, and United, because you're going to get the Rapid Rewards number. Okay, you're going to have a member number. And for United, you're going to have that United Plus member number. And so you can transfer the points to your airline account for you and one other person that lives in your house. And it's only a 1-to-1 ratio though. Okay, so it's not going to be worth any more. But if you find that it's just cheaper to go straight through the airline to book your flight, then, and you say, you know what, I'm in my airline account and I don't have enough points, that's how you do it. If you have points with your Chase Sapphire Reserve card, transfer them to your Southwest or to your United airline account. Okay, but in this case, we decided not to because we said we're going to look at the flights in Chase Travel. Okay, so now the points were up to 58, right? Because I already had 38,000 points and I earned the 20,000 with the bonus. So all you have to do is just do what they tell you. Okay, don't spend any new money. Okay, so I'm not telling you to get yourself in debt. What you're spending is money that you already spent. So gas, groceries, let's see what else, food, clothes, anything that you normally will buy, whatever credit card you get, whether it's the Chase Freedom Unlimited, whether it's Chase Sapphire Reserve, then that's what you want to use. Okay, so you want to maximize the value of your dollar. And that's the way you do it, because different types of purchases are worth a different amount of points. Okay, groceries like 3. Takeout, dining out might be worth, let's say, 2 or 3 points or something like that. And so that's why I don't use my bank card. I hardly ever use it at all. Unless it's something where you have to pay with debit and you can't pay with credit, I don't ever use my bank card. I use the credit cards and I let the points build up. Whether or not I can pay the credit card off every month is a different story. But as long as you're making your minimum payments, then you're still helping your credit anyway. Okay, so like I said, so back to the options. So option number 1 for the United flight from New Jersey to London was out because it did not include the bags and the seats for us. Okay, so option number 2 included the tickets could be exchanged. It included the first check bag per person going and coming. Remember, that's $75 going and coming per person. It included the carry-on, which I think is like $40 per person going and coming. It included the seat. I think the seat price is like $25 or something like that. Both people going and coming. Remember that the flight from Jersey to London was nonstop. Hopefully that's enough. My thumb, I never seem to put enough, and then the problem is that it cures. And it's difficult to get it back off. Okay, so let me put a little bit more. But with the 58,000 points, the ticket price started off at $1,392, and then it went down with the 58,000 points to $451 and some change. But here's the thing about Chase Sapphire Reserve. Okay, number 1, you get a $300 annual travel credit every single year that you have the card, like clockwork. So when you get to your year that you've had the card, whatever you haven't used goes away, and they reset it with a $300 annual travel credit. And then you have a year to use it before they reset it again. Okay, so it doesn't accumulate. I really wish it did, but it doesn't. The other thing about that card, if you're looking at it, or if you haven't taken a look and you're like, yeah, I'm going to look at it while you're talking about it. That one of those rules, number 1 rules I had, it does break it, which is, now I'm doing a full cure with the 30 seconds. It has a $550 annual fee. And that's hot. You take your hand out, turn it upside down, and then wait until you don't feel the heat, and then put it back in. Okay, that's at any point in time if you feel like an instant heat in your hand. Okay, so each authorized user is $75 annual. But the benefit of that is super hot. I have to keep it in there for 30 seconds, and it's too hot for me to keep my hands in. Okay, let me see if I can do another 10. Let's see. I think because I've had my nails on for about a week. They're just kind of sensitive. Okay, yeah. So you're like, no, big red flag. I'm running away from the card. I'm not going to get it. But here's the thing. Number 1, remember the $300 annual travel credit. So even if you only have just your card, the account holder, that takes your annual fee down to $250. Now, you also get the priority Select Pass membership card. That is a card that gives you access to different airport lounges globally. And some of them offer free food and free drinks, including free alcohol. Okay, you and 2 of your guests get into those airport lounges unlimited every year for free. And if you have an authorized user on your Chase Sapphire Reserve card, then they also get the same membership. They get their own card, their own membership number for Priority Select Pass. And they and 2 of their guests can get in complimentary, okay, so for free, unlimited all year into those airport lounges. And sometimes it includes like the airport lounge that is for, let's say, for that airline. Because each airline has their own airport lounge. Chase has an airport lounge as well. But if I remember correctly, Chase is included in Priority Select Pass. Okay, and one of the United airport lounges is included as well. Now, what would it cost if you did not have the membership to get in? With one of the United airport lounges, it's $59.99 per person. And I can't remember if children get in for free, but I think they do. But some of them, the children don't even get in for free. Okay, some of them are $69 to get in. Okay, and if you have the Priority Select Pass membership separate, they have 3 different memberships. And until you get to the $469 annual fee membership, you still don't get in free, and neither does your guest. So you might get in free unlimited all year, but you're paying $469 annual for that card separate for that membership, and your guests still don't get in free. So that's why I said, if you look at it, whether you have an account holder and an authorized user for Chase Sapphire Reserve, that Priority Select Pass membership just made the annual fee that you pay, the $550 and the $75 per authorized user, that made it worth it. That kind of made it have no annual fee. Plus your points are worth 50% more when you book for travel. Okay, so now we're going to do a little setup to do the dip part. Okay, and I know we're really far into this, so you might find that when you listen to this video, you're going to listen to it for 2 different reasons. You're going to watch it for 2 different reasons. One for nails and one for they went to London for $192 US. She's right. I should just go ahead and just watch the video even if it's just for that purpose. Okay, so I'm going to put everything else behind me here. Make sure everything's tightened. That's my backup base. So this is step 2 base. That is what you use for the dip method. You push and hold this button and it turns off. Okay, I'm going to move this out the way. Don't forget this is heavy when you pick this up. And then now I'm going to get all of the stuff over here, all the brushes that we need, the powders and everything and stuff like that. The spoons. I don't dip my fingers in my own powder. But yeah, so points, miles, cash back. If you don't take anything else from this video, especially if I'm probably like, let me check. Yeah, we're 43 minutes in. So if you don't take anything else from this video, points, miles, cash back, add them up. That's Lip Talk. Here's a spoon for that. Okay, and then this brush is going to be for glitter. This one was going to be for, the black. I haven't decided. Do I want to do black or black licorice? That's right. Black licorice is kind of it's a sheer black. Or do I want to do a solid black? Okay, but I do have, let's see, this is That Girl. This glows. The G powders glow. They don't have any polish to them. I don't want to say they won't, but just not yet. So that's the only thing about not polishes. They don't have glow polishes. They only have glow powders. Okay, so we have this. This is the regular black, and this is the spoon I just made for it. And orange. I don't use orange very often, so this is going to be for the glow. I try to keep the glitter that has this with the glitter so I don't forget. And then this one was going to be for, this should be Lip Talk. Okay, and then we got to cut the nails. I'm not leaving them this long. And black licorice, I do have a spoon. And I already have a brush just in case I change my mind. I don't want to go solid. I've seen the black powder. It's really pretty. I've used it with monomer, but monomer triggers my migraines. Okay, so let's cut. I try to cut this to where I don't have to file a lot. But yeah, like I said, if you don't take anything else from this video, points, miles, cash back is very important. And if you don't want to apply for a credit card, if nothing else, go to the airlines and sign up for their accounts. They're free. They're not credit cards, and just book your flights in your airline accounts. But it's the key thing is You're going to go to their website if you don't want to use your credit card. Like I said, let's say the price for the ticket for the airline is too much. So you're going to go to that website, the airline website anyway, and book your flight anyway. You might as well log into your account and start accumulating your points, especially since it's free to sign up. And you don't have to have one of their credit cards to get those points. That was going to be way too short. Okay, let's see. Last time I thought I cut them too short, and then when I got finished, I saw how long I actually left them. And my middle finger always gives me trouble because that being, well, at least it appears to me that's my longest finger. But I have long fingers and I don't want to, it looks awkward when I have short nails. I think I'm going to wing it. I am, because I don't have the other ones on to gauge if I feel I'm cutting these too short. But this is a time where you're probably going to be super focused, because if you're like me and you didn't get really good at shaping when you were using half cover tips or filing across the top to make it where it's even, you're going to find that with this step, I'm going to cut a little bit more off the pinky. It's really important to cut as straight as you can. And for me, I try to keep in mind, if I were doing someone's nails, I would be looking at the front. They would see the back of the clipper, of the cutter. So I try to remember, I need to see what someone else would see if I was doing their nails so that I cut it the right way. Let's see. The pinky's too short, looks awkward. I did it again. I should have left it. That's too short. That's okay. It'll look a little bit longer with the powder on. And the thumb is important to me too. The thumb looks awkward if it's too short in my fingers. But yeah, that's the key thing that to remember is, okay, so with Chase, I don't know about the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, but I know with the Freedom Unlimited, like I said, you can combine your points. You transfer your points to your other credit card with Chase, the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. And then you decide, do you want to keep the points there and book your travel through Chase Travel, or do you want to transfer your points to yourself on your airline account, which is with the airline, which is free and it's on a credit card? And that's basically how you do it. So you're probably thinking, so where'd the other $40 come from? Because you had to get to New Jersey. Okay, and you're right. Okay, so that's not straight. Let's see. It's being fussy today on how it's cutting. Ooh, good. That's perfect. I'm not touching it. That's a bit long. I'm scared to make that shorter. It's going to look awkward. And make sure the pieces are out. But yeah, so my husband did the same thing. He has an American Express card. And he had enough points to where by the time it was all said and done, I'm not going short. I'm going to have to actually, oh, I was going to tell you this next part. If you do file before you put powder on, file at your own risk, because the nails might roll and curve at the end and like roll like a fruit roll up toward the inner part of your finger. And I have too much, way too much of that, that I did put too much for the thumb. It didn't look like it. There's a brush at the other end of this. I don't even know if I can get that off. I might have to drill that off. Yeah, let me see if I can drill that off while we're talking. So, let me see. I don't like the little clippings to be here. I usually clean up as I go. I'll just toss them over here. Let me get my drill real quick. It's right over here. But yeah, so we were talking about, like I said, the points and stuff like that, transfer them to yourself. And because some people say I don't have enough points, you might not have enough points in one place. Okay, so the key thing might be to get all your points in one place and then pick, also you're gonna need a place to stay, right? So do you want to book your hotel or Airbnb or an apartment? If you're gonna go overseas, like especially like to Rome, look for apartments. On Chase Travel, there might be some. The apartments tend to be bigger. And so you can look and decide, okay, well, I don't see the apartment separate. So yeah, I'll book the apartment, or, you know, I went to the hotel's website and their price was too much, but in Chase it's cheaper and I have points and it's worth 50% more if I book my hotel through Chase. And so also, what is travel? Travel is airline, hotel, car rental, limousine. Like, why would I have a limousine? Wedding, proms. If you book your travel through a travel agent, and I think Uber and Lyft are also considered to be a part of travel for your points to be worth 50% more. And events. You can look at events. So say you want to go to a show or something like that. You can look for that show in that location on Chase Travel, and your points will be worth 50% more. So you can use that to buy your tickets for that. But yeah, it's just really important to keep that in mind. This is being stubborn. It's not going to come off. I didn't even see that. I'm trying not to burn my thumb, because this will cause problems later. This will actually make it lift. Usually I don't have this problem with my thumb. I don't know how I ended up putting too much, but I'm going to have to fix it now. And this is the part you guys usually don't see in my videos. It's like when something goes wrong, I pause and fix it and come back. But like I said, you guys are just going to be with me for a while today, because this is my last day I have to do my nails. And like I said, if everything it came when it was supposed to, they would have been done already. We would have been, you know, with each other yesterday. But yeah, so his American Express card, he had enough points to where by the time it was said and done, he only got charged the $40 for the taxes. Okay, so your points, miles, cashback, whatever you use to purchase your airline tickets, even if you go to your airline account and use your points directly in the account, you cannot pay for the taxes with points. Okay, so you could probably cover maybe your whole ticket, and then your taxes might be like, oh, $5 and some change per airline ticket. Or in this case, I think it must have been like $20 in taxes or something like that for the ticket. And I think it goes off the taxes of the price, the original price, the $1,392 that it was. And so that's probably why it was $40. I think he said that he thinks that was the taxes on the tickets. Remember, we needed 2 tickets going and coming for 2 people. Okay, so that's where the $192 come from. But I guess if you don't round it off, it's like $191 and some change. Okay, and like I said, you want to use as many points as possible for your travel for overseas, because when you go to London, you're in the UK, you're going to be, the currency is the pound, and the pound is worth a lot more than the US dollar. And then the euro in Paris, we took the bullet train to Paris. It takes 2 hours. You go underneath the English Channel, so yeah, you go underneath the water, but you can't tell you're in the tunnel. And in 2 hours, you're in Paris. Or yeah, you're in Paris. You come out in another, I don't know if you want to call it city or town before Paris, but eventually you do end up there. And the bullet train gets up to like 151 miles or like faster or something like that. Okay, so yeah, you can hop on over to Europe from UK on a bullet train. There's other places you can go. It was fairly inexpensive. It wasn't that much per person. I don't remember how much it was. I don't know if it was like $70 per person. But I mean, you think about it, that's going and coming total per person, I believe, if I remember correct. And online, you might see it for $47.99, but I'm not quite sure how. Because when my husband went to book it, he was like, where'd you see that price at? Because I'm seeing like closer to 70 something bucks for us to go to Paris. Okay, so that's going to be stubborn. And we need to get to our dip part. And so I got off as much as I can. Hopefully that won't cause lifting later. I usually, like I said, don't even have to do that. That caught me off guard. Eventually, this will maybe dry more or cure more, however you say it. And then you'll might see me like picking at it. I didn't want to do too much to it, because I didn't want to have it make it loose. I just didn't want that thicker builder gel on the side of my finger like that. Usually I don't have to do that. Okay, so I forgot my other hand's not done yet. Okay, so now let's move this back out of the way. And let me go ahead and turn it off here. And then the other button's off here. That way it's not running down the battery, even though it's sitting there idling. Okay. All right, so now I can move this out the way. Oh, let me change this to 60 seconds because when you do the dip method, you use 60 seconds. If you're gonna do full covers, let me change it to 60. And you just push it again so it turns off. So now we'll do that because one of my first times using these nails, actually the first time I accidentally, how do you say that? I was curing at 30 until I realized what I was doing. Okay, so we have your step 2 base from Not Polish. It's specifically formulated to be sticky surface. And that's the other thing. Okay, so you're gonna see some people take a hand file, you're gonna see them file over to create a rough surface on the nail. Number one, you want the surface really smooth. You wanna paint this on as evenly as you can, especially if you're using half cover tips. Because with half cover tips, you gotta do all the shaping here, and shaping here, and shaping there. You know, full cover tips take all that away. Okay, you shouldn't have to do very much at all. And so since you want this to go on as smoothly as possible, that's why I don't do that. That's why you don't see me scuff up the clear nails, okay? And I've yet to want to keep them clear. So if I want to keep them clear, I'm going to have to work on not having the thicker builder gel go past the tip of my finger because you'll be able to see it if there's no charms. Okay, so I'm going to have to work on that. But yeah, so that's another thing that they're going to tell you you're supposed to do, but I don't do. It cuts out a step. And then with the full cover nails, the other step you cut out is not having to use clear powder to protect your nails from the color powder. Because if you don't use the clear powder with half cover nails on your natural nail, the color powder will stain. So you want to use clear powder first for your first 2 layers. Okay, so I have a video on if you want to do half cover tips. Okay, so for the black, I think, let's see, my charms over there. And I need to pick a color for this finger because now I have to wait for the charm. Okay, so I need my charms really quick so I don't put the wrong color on the wrong finger. Okay, so I'm gonna put these here so I can look at them. Usually I use, I'll tell you guys in a second when I get back over here. That's the left hand. And, okay, here's the right hand. Okay, so usually I use my swatches that I make to be able to tell what I want to do, what to be the background for the charms. But today it's kind of like winging it, and I'm thinking I do have a solid white powder with no glitter, no octagons, no nothing in it. I was thinking about using that because I was going to put the black underneath the red heart, and I think I still want to do that. But now I'm kind of thinking, do I want it to be solid or do I want it to be see-through with the black licorice? I want something new. I'm going to cross my fingers and hope I like it. We're going to put that back. Let's switch really quick. Those are going to be red over here. I want something completely different. Okay, so there's my black licorice spoon and here's my black licorice powder. Okay, so I do that all the time. I untwist it. I didn't show you guys. Okay, so this one is called Lip Talk. It's M105. And what I do is I saw in another video, I can't take credit for this. I believe in giving credit where it's due. And in that video, in the description box, that person put the hand, the finger, and the powder so that the people would know because I guess they didn't want to label the video like to put it. I mean, because you're moving your hands all the time, so it's kind of hard to do that. But yeah, this is called Lip Talk. And it looks like it's a bright red, but it's kind of like a reddish orangish pink, if that makes any sense. But it's more red than anything. Okay, so I'm hoping, I have it on my toes. I'm hoping that it comes out redder on my fingers than it did on my toes. This one here is OMG, what is this? I think it is 13. It's called Starlight. Okay, so it's white powder with blue, purple, like octagon shapes and stuff like that. There's glitter in it, as you can see. And then this one is called That Girl, and it's what is it? Let's see, is it 13 or 14? Oh, I'm way off. 28, it's G28. That Girl, it's red and it glows red. And then they said you want to activate their powders, but some of their powders you don't have to activate. You just take the top off and then you put it in your lamp for, let's say, 60 seconds or 90 seconds, and you want to do that maybe 2 or 3 times. This one is CC1002, and this is called, like I said, Black Licorice. I have not made I don't think a swatch of this. Okay, so there's two little things in here. This I've never peeled off. Be careful, these are really full. Okay, so I know it looks like a gray color, but it should come out a sheer black. Okay, so we're gonna have some fun today and see what it ends up looking like. And then I always pause, I do my other hand, I come back and then we decorate. Okay, so on my thumb is gonna go my rabbit with this little trumpet. And so I wanted for some reason I want the glow underneath it. I don't know, I kind of feel like, oh, when he blows the trumpet, oh, it's glowing. I don't know, I'm kind of weird like that. So there's a method to my madness, okay? I'm gonna make sure I don't get these mixed up because they look the same. Okay, so that's Lip Talk, and then I gotta remember that the glow powder is here because they're almost identical in color until you put them on and then until you top coat them. Yeah, that's the glow. Okay, so maybe, no, I'll remember. We're gonna go glow first. And I usually do my thumb. Let me move this out of the way of my lamp. Let me get my lamp more situated where I can get my hand closer. And like I said, what I love about full cover nails is it's 60-second cures all the way through. First layer, second layer, how many layers you want to put of this base and your powder. There is no having to worry about the clear powder first to protect your natural nail, all that other stuff like I said earlier. And so that's why I like the full cover nails. And like I said, I just think that G28 is another good full cover nail if you want something that is longer, but they're plastic. But I like them because they don't bend easy. They're really pretty nails. They come in a nice size box if you need to use it like for travel or whatever, and you don't want to have a big bulky box. If you guys saw one of my videos, I turned a fishing tackle box into a nail box. And so yeah, G28, their nail box is like really small. Has an awful smell though, the box. And I tried washing it with soap and water and it didn't work. The smell was just, it was horrendous. And I was like, you know what, hopefully the nails won't smell like that when I put on my nails, and now I don't even use them. So I have so many different types of nails, it is ridiculous. But I'm gonna stick with not polished with their soft gel nails because of the quality. Like I said, the prep time is the least amount of prep time I've ever had. You guys saw it wasn't a lot at all. You saw I didn't take a hand file to my nails or anything, my natural nails. And so they're a really good company. They're really well known. They're sold in a lot of different stores. They're up there probably in the top 3 people. And so you'll probably have people at the store, nail stores that where they sell nail products and stuff like that, tell you about them. And I like them. And then some of their powders smell sweet, like candy and fruit. And I'm not quite sure how they do that. And then, oh, I didn't get my warning. Okay, so with step 2 base, it's a hit and miss. Sometimes you're going to open this up, your nose is going to burn, your eyes are going to burn. I mean, it's going to be insane. Okay, so I'm trying to think. Okay, so if I get it's a little guard. You know the little guards in Alice in Wonderland, the cards, and they have like the little, what do you call that? The little spear things or whatever. I was supposed to have one with a little black heart on it, and neither one of the packs came with it. Like I said earlier, that's what was missing. So the pack coming tomorrow, if it comes in time, the heart is red and he has his little thing, and it's a little card. It's so cute. So you'll see the clock that I was thinking about doing, but the clock's just a little bit too big. That's going to go on my middle finger. The heart's going to go on my ring finger. And so I'm thinking that maybe the debate is what color to make this. Do I want the background to be red? Which red? Or do I want it to be black? And am I going to get the little card tomorrow or not? Or am I going to have to use the clock? The clock, I wouldn't use black. So that's kind of out for Black Licorice, right? Even though it's see-through, it's sheer. So we'll worry about that finger when we get to it. Usually I do about 2 or 3 fingers at a time, but white, the problem with the white would be the card is white. If I get the card, and there's also flamingo and it's red. And then if it's red, it should be fine no matter which charm I use, except for if I don't get the little card and I like the flamingo, and if it's a good size, the flamingo is red. So we're going to cross fingers and say, hopefully get the guard card, and I'll do a little short to show the finished product because we still won't be finished. We'll be missing this charm. I'm going to go red. And I'm going to go, I like glow. I like glow. My pinky might be the only one that has That Girl in there just to match my toe. I think I'm going to make this one white, and I'm going to make this one the sheer black. We got a plan. All right, let's go with our plan. Okay, so yeah. But all the hassle of half cover tips, I don't have the patience. And I'm tired of trying to figure out why it didn't want to stick. And let me tell you, okay, so this step 2 base is very sticky. It is my go-to for if I'm out and about. I don't carry regular nail glue with me anymore because it dries out fast and it's always when you need it the most, right? And so I decided to start using step 2 base as a quick nail repair. Like I said, if I'm out and about, if I go and I fly, I put this stuff in my check bag so that they don't take it. And I take that the light you saw because it's portable. And as you saw, you can charge it up and just use it portable. And so, but when you're out and about, like just at the stores and stuff like that, I mean, you're probably not going to have your solid, not your solid, your builder gel, your thicker builder gel that you saw in that red bottle with you. And if you do, you're going to have your light because you need a light for it. So this is my go-to for quick nail repair. Oh no, my charm fell off. It dries a cloudy white though. So if you use it to glue on charms, even if you like it for charms from the beginning, just keep that in mind to try and keep it where it's not where you're going to see it from underneath the charm. Like it's not going to ooze because it doesn't dry clear. Okay, so we said this one's going to be the, let's see, Starlight. This is going to be the Starlight one. And that one's going to be the red. I haven't had white on my fingers in a long time. I just went into bright colors. And I got away from French tips a long time ago. It doesn't pop enough for me. That's not enough color. It's not bright enough. But this one's really pretty. The hard part about this, about not using monomer, is you want to get the really pretty glitter and the little shapes. So that's the hard part about that. You won't probably start seeing the shape stick that is inside any of the powders that have the little shapes until you get to like the second or the third layer of your powder. And it's up to you, like I said, how many layers you want to put. It's all depending on how thick you want it. And also, so if you're like me, if you like your nails thick, if you're used to that and used to half cover tips, using full cover tips might not be for you either because it's not going to be as thick as you want it. By the time you try to get it as thick as you want it, you're probably going to be upset because the whole point of doing it this way is to not have to use the e-file, you know, your drill, or a hand file. Young Nails has a really good hand file if you want to smooth the surface of powder if you use monomer and you don't want to use a drill. And if you're wondering, do I have it if I can show it to you? Yes, I do. It is my go-to. The grit is the same on each side, the file and the smoothing side, the buffer side, I guess. But it's a really, really good hand file. But using full cover tips, I have found I don't have to use that. If you paint your step 2 base as even as you can and not all bulky and thick and everything like that, then you shouldn't have that problem of where you need to smooth the surface anyway. And then I was on the fence about how hard to tap this powder back off in here. Some powders stick really well the first time, and some of them you're going to be like, I know I put this base on here, especially if your nose and everything is burning, you're going through all of that. And you're going to think like, what happened? Why didn't the powder stick to it? But some colors are just like that. On your second layer, it should stick better. And on your second layer, you want to make sure, just in case I don't do the second layer, because I know we're like an hour in now on video, and I just go ahead and finish up everything and then come back so we can decorate. Your second layer is important so far as how even it's painted. You want to make sure the whole nail is wet. Okay, for the second layer. I know that seems like that's an obvious thing, but you don't really think about it because some of the powders are more see-through than others, like when you put it on your nails. And so what ends up happening is you're like, oh, okay, well, it's just the fact that the powder's kind of see-through. I did put enough base there. I did put enough powder there. And so that's probably why it looks like that, because maybe this color doesn't start to look solid until about the third layer. And then you realize that you didn't have enough base. Like the surface wasn't wet enough for the powder to stick until you find out, oh no, that means that actually there's no powder there at all. And you find yourself having to do another layer and you don't want it to look bulky, right? So, I mean, if you can't get the thickness that you like, you still want it to be even and nice. And if I do put another layer of the step 2 base on before I put the powder, I try to make it as thin as possible because I found that it looks kind of awkward. Okay, so this one was supposed to be Black Licorice, and then that one's going to be Lip Talk. And then the other thing for me is I don't like to have the same color on the same finger on the opposite hand. So on my other hand, when I come back from this, when I get to that part, you guys probably won't see me do my second hand. Then my colors might not match, especially since I have to take into consideration the charms, the colors of them. But I don't mind that because I don't like it to match anyway. It's not very often that you'll see me wear both numbs are the same color, both pinkies are the same color. And I'm really hoping this doesn't dry gray because the colors for the wedding is black, white, and red. My outfit's black and white. And so I am really, really hoping that that doesn't stay looking like that, that actually starts to look black but sheer. Let's see, we said Lip Talk for here. Yeah, Lip Talk has a little bit of a pinkish look to it, but that's okay because it's pretty because it's bright. And I think the hardest part for me is like the fact that I wait a week in between just to kind of like rest my nails and just in case there are some ridges, just in case I did have to go over my fingers, whether I use a hand file or the sanding band and the drill or not. And then I put that 9-in-1 nail aid that you can get from Walmart, like I said, on there to kind of like help it grow back out more, help it be stronger, help it get its thickness back in the nail. There's several different reasons, you know, for that, to protect the nail while there's nothing on it because it acts as a top coat, right? And so that's the only thing is about waiting till later. Can you put your hand in for 60 seconds? And like I said, if it burns, if it gets hot, just take your hand out and turn it upside down. I know what you're thinking. What if the powder falls off? You're going to have to dust off. You're going to see the next step is dusting anyway. And so you might find that you'd rather do that, obviously, than have your hand burn in the lamp, right? Okay, so yeah, but the trip itself was a lot of fun. I'm going to have to say, if you go in August, then just be careful with the weather because like in Paris, it might be raining. In London, it might be cloudy and hot. It might be cloudy and cold. It might be cloudy and sprinkling or raining. And I got super sick coming back. So this is one of the first 2 or 3 days where I actually have my voice back. And so I didn't even think I was going to be able to record the whole Alice in Wonderland thing and tell you guys about the trip. What did we go see? So we went to go see, in London, we went to see the Tower of London. I don't know why it's called Tower with no S, because it's more than one tower. It's a castle. And then we went across the Tower Bridge, and then we went and saw Big Ben. We saw the Eye. And we went to different souvenir shops. It seems to me that there's more souvenir shops. Where's my brush? I don't know how I got over there. This is the part where it gets messy. This is where you decide, do you want to brush it off back in there? But my problem is the base that's there, and I don't want the base to get back into the powder. And then I'll show you if you have it like really clean. I'll show you really quick when I get finished brushing. You don't want to brush too hard Okay, so I'm missing some of that, so I'll get it on that side before I get too far into the layers. And then it, like I said, looks lumpy. I don't want it to do that. I'm gonna have to solve that. But you see how clean that is? There's hardly any powder on my fingers or anything like that. So, oh, this is black licorice. That's this brush. But yeah, this is where it gets messy because you start sitting your powders, your jars on top of where you dusted off your powder at. Some of them are gonna dust off a lot. I don't care how much step 2 base you use. I just want to give you fair warning because I don't want you to end up putting more base than what you need. And then finding that when you started doing this part, it was a lot was gonna come off anyway. And then before I forget, I know I started telling you, so some of them you're gonna have to, when you get to the second layer, that's when you're gonna really start to see the powder stick. Even if you put the powder on there right away. And some powders you're gonna want to find, what am I missing? I'm missing a brush. Oh, okay. This will be for the glow. But some of them, yeah, you're gonna find that you want to wait 10 to 15 seconds after you put the base on and then put the powder on, I guess, to kind of help it stick more. So each color behaves differently. That is the hardest part about this, is not knowing, do I let the base sit for about 10 to 15 seconds and then sprinkle the powder on? Do I put the powder on right away so that as it dries, because step 2 base air dries. So I want to make sure I don't forget that before I pause and do the rest of my nails. So when I put my hand to the lamp, the whole purpose is not curing the step 2 base. It's supposed to be to help it dry faster. Okay, so let's go back over because I know I have some of them I have to fix. But some I did pretty good. Yeah, you'll find I'll get quiet in some of my videos. I'm just focusing because, like I said, the second layer, it's really, really important to make sure that the whole surface is wet. And then I don't know if you can see that. You can see that it's kind of wet, but you can see how it looks kind of see-through. That's a combination of the powder didn't stick, a lot. And then the powder is kind of it's not a sheer powder, but I believe this is one of those colors where it doesn't look thick or solid kind of, instead of see-through, until you get maybe to this layer or the third layer. But yeah, so we had a blast. And in Paris, we went to, I'm probably going to say this one, the Louvre. That's where the Mona Lisa is. And all I can tell you is you're going to do a lot of walking. The price for that was, I think, 22, I want to say US dollars to get in. And if you're in Paris, you're with the euro, so that's more. I don't know. I guess that's not a lot, if you consider. I don't think that was euro. I think that was US. I'd be careful over here. That truck is back again. Super, super loud. But yeah. So it wasn't a lot. Even if it was 22 euros per person, that's I still don't think that's a lot in comparison to the other tours that we took. So that was fun. And then just also keep in mind, like when you travel across seas, the outlets. Okay, so some places you're gonna have a USB-A outlet where you can just have the cord. Some places you might need an actual, I don't know if you want to call that like the plug, and then there's the adapter that the plug goes into, right? I think I always get those all mixed up, the terms for them. But if you order from Amazon, be careful, because if you order one that says it's for Europe, even though Paris is in Europe, it might not work. And you might find yourself at one of those shops where they sell like soda, juice, water. It's almost like it reminds you of a corner store. You might find yourself in one of those. It has souvenirs in there as well to get the correct adapter for your plug. And then some of them have the 2-prong, but there's you can put a third one in. I think the third part would be the ground part, right? And so yeah, that's the biggest thing. So ordering from Amazon kind of helps a little bit. Like when you go to Rome, you should be okay for what you ordered, but keep in mind that the one you order for Europe might not work in Paris. And like I said, you might find yourself going to one of those. Even the places like where they sell, like you'll see where, I guess you could say, I don't want to call it a liquor store, but I guess it would be kind of that. It sells wine and it sells alcohol. So I guess, yeah, it's mainly, there was my voice again, it's mainly a liquor store. That might be a place where you find it, because in Paris or in London, one of those, we searched like an electronics store, and the adapter that they had was, let's say you went from London to Paris, or you went from Paris to London, and if you needed to be for your US things that you're going to plug in, like your cell phone and stuff like that, then you might find it at the electronics store. And they also might have to order, they might not even have it in store. Then you might find that it might not even be what you need. Okay, so I'm not going to say don't order from Amazon to get that, but I will just say, just keep that in mind, that when you get there, you might still not have the right one you need to plug your US plug into. And then, excuse me, don't forget that you can use the router. The router should have a USB port. It's not going to be fast charging like what you would need, but at least for the time being, you'll be able to charge up your cell phone and anything else you need to charge up. Just keep in mind, it's not going to be fast charging. And then your TV. Okay, so don't forget that the TV will have a plug, and you should be able to use the TV to charge your phone. Okay, so just little tips, because when we got there, like I said, I ordered one for Europe, forgetting that London was UK, United Kingdom. And so I was like, okay, well, when we get to Paris, we'll be fine. And no, we weren't. We still had to buy one from one of those stores. Luckily, they sold it. And then if you stay at like the hotel, my French is awful, okay, so don't laugh, but the hotel, I think it was De La, let's see, I don't know if that's pronounced Pay. It's Paix. If you, there goes my nose. If you stay there, when you walk down that, I don't know if that's an alley or a street from the hotel to go to the main street, that you, like, here's the street, and then you walk down to go to the hotel. Right there, right across the street, there's a guy in there, and he is a lifesaver, because he has like the adapters and plugs that you'll need. If he doesn't have it, I would be very surprised. Okay, if you're using it for like the US things. And so we were very happy. And then he has some really cool souvenirs and stuff in there. So yeah, and then specific things. So like, also in London, there's, if you like Paddington Bear, there's Paddington Station. And it's only one store in this huge mall, where when you, I think you go upstairs, and when you go upstairs, you come out kind of like in the center or kind of side. And the shops surround the part where I guess you would buy your ticket if you don't already have a ticket. Like, say that you started from that point, and the Paddington store is inside of the mall. Okay, so you just have to ask them like where it is and then go toward it. So it's not a, even though it's called Paddington Station, I think it's called that specifically because that store is there. And if you want like an authentic handmade Paddington Bear, it's over 100 euros. But it's really cool to see. The only thing I noticed was, I like the little Paddington where it has the hat, the rain boots, the suitcase that has his initials on it and stuff like that. And then the one where it has the note where it says, "Please take care of this bear." If you want something like that, it's going to be about a foot tall. And where you're going to find that at would be like the Heathrow Airport. Possibly by your terminal when you're going to leave the airport, or if you go on the bullet train to Paris or somewhere else, that same bullet train you take to go to Paris, the same station where you go, then in there you're going to find a store. I want to say it's a duty-free store. It might not be, but you're going to find a store, and then they're going to have a mixture of, let's say, souvenirs of if you had got them from Paris, and then souvenirs of if you got them from London because you're still in London. And in there, at the top shelf, you'll see it. It has that bear. Some of them have hats and rain boots. Some of them only have hats. And I'm very specific with my Paddington, and I wanted it all: the hat, the boots, the suitcase, and the note. But I already had one from us having to stay in London overnight for a connecting flight to go back to Jersey when we went to Rome. And if you're wondering, okay, so the way I ended up with that Chase Sapphire Reserve card, at the time, the annual fee was $450, still seemed like a lot. The first thing I took into consideration, like I said, was the $300 annual travel credit. And then I looked at how much the Priority Select Pass membership, the Airport Lounges card, was worth. But I just kind of went out on a limb. I thought, my credit's good, but I think you have to have excellent credit for that. They're probably not going to give me the card, and they did. And the minimum credit limit is $10,000. Okay, so my hand's shaking. Yeah, so I just kind of went for it. And ever since then, that has been my go-to card for travel. Okay, so I just let my points accumulate there. And like I said, we don't spend any new money. Okay, so it's just all bills. Everything that we already pay. Whenever we get a new credit card, especially since it's probably going to have zero interest on at least purchases, we just switch everything to that card to earn the points. And then, like I said, we look to see if they have any partners, any travel partners. And then if they do, then we check to see, like the airline partners, if we already have an account with them. And then from there, it was like a trial and error, right? To find out that you can transfer your points to your airline account. And like I said, the Chase Freedom Unlimited, the newest thing I learned was that they had the combine your points. And so I don't know what other Chase cards you could transfer your points to, the combine your points. But I do know from Chase Freedom Unlimited to Chase Sapphire Reserve, you can do that. And then the other good thing with Chase, I don't know about the Chase Freedom Unlimited card, but with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, the way you avoid interest if you can't pay it all off is you look at, it'll tell you where it shows your minimum payment due is like $40 or whatever. It'll tell you how much your balance was when your statement closed. And if you can pay the statement balance, then you don't get interest. So let's just say your statement closes and you have $500 on the credit card. You charged it, right? Okay, so it's a little later in the month. Let's say your statement closes like in the middle of the month. So it's a little bit later in the month. Your card has a balance of, let's say, $650. Well, your statement balance was $500. I know that sounds like a lot, but if you're able to do it, and it could be a lower number, that's just an example, then pay your statement amount and then you won't have any interest. Okay, so Chase was really interesting like that, to not have to pay off your whole credit card to avoid interest. And that's what I liked about the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. And then plus, I mean, if I go into it now, if I were to talk about it, Chase has a mall. And you're like, yeah, an online mall. But you know how I am. If you see any of my Rakuten and Capital One videos, those are combined videos, how to combine your Rakuten cashback with your Capital One Shopping.com cashback. then you'll know the reason why I don't use the Chase Mall to go into Chase, go to the Chase Mall, then go to the website. The reason why I don't do that is because if you do that, you might get more cash back with Rakuten, and then you may not have enough time to activate Capital One Shopping. You may not even be able to activate Capital One Shopping. You know, if you can, then you can choose. So I want to go to the Chase Mall and activate Capital One Shopping before I check out on the what do you call the cart page, or do I want to go to Rakuten into my account and then go to that website and then shop? And then Rakuten has in-store cashback as well. But Rakuten, a lot of the travel people, like JetBlue, I think Trivago, if not Expedia, are on Rakuten. So if you have a JetBlue, if you have an Expedia account, if you have any type of travel account, hotels.com, if you have an account with them, what is this? This is Black Licorice. Then you can go to your Rakuten account, log into there, and then go to that website and then complete your purchase. And don't forget to activate your CapitalOneShopping.com. Okay, so you just go to CapitalOneShopping.com and sign up. It's free. And even if you forget to activate your CapitalOneShopping.com, if nothing else, at least you'll get the Rakuten. So yes, combine that if you can. So Southwest, I don't think is in Rakuten, but check and see if United is, if Delta, American Airlines, if any of them are in Rakuten. Go to Rakuten first, go to their website, and then purchase your airline ticket. So your I think I just, what did I do? I'm dusting. This little brush just finds its way away from me. I'm like, where did it go? But yeah, so obviously your cashback for Rakuten will be in your Rakuten account. Your cashback miles and points for your credit cards will be in your credit card accounts. Your miles or points, whatever you earn with each airline, will be in your airline accounts. And like I said, if you want to call them first, especially when you get to applying for credit cards, and ask those questions, if you don't see it on the page when it's like, what are the perks of having this credit card, then call and ask them. Because I think, what's that called? I'm going to mess up Lufthansa, that airline. And then also with Chase, you have your, there goes my nose. Let's see. Okay, so I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do the third layer here, or if I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my hands and then come back. I made a huge mess. You know, while I'm talking, I might as well, until I end up pausing. And then, like I said, I'm not gonna put, don't worry, I know it's not funny, but I'm not gonna put you guys through my right hand. I'll knock that one out real quick. I did find last time that it was easier for me to do my left hand because my right hand was done already, because I did a video where I used my non-dominant hand. Oh, and that's the reason why I didn't start like that, even though it would have been easier for me to, for some odd reason, to use my right hand after that, because I made you guys a promise, and I promised myself I would not record and use my non-dominant hand again. It was really frustrating. By the time I could get that little light to turn on, the nail would slide. And like I said, in a matter of seconds, it starts to cure. And so I would have to lift it up before it actually cured all the way, and then try to put it back on and try to not have air bubbles when I laid it down really slow. And so using my non-dominant hand was really frustrating. Sometimes I use some language I shouldn't use. And so I always have to keep in mind, you're recording, don't cuss. And so it was really frustrating. One of them went on so crooked that I had to pause the video and go take it off and come back, because I tried to file it. That's where I learned with these nails, if you're going to file them, be careful if you don't have any powder on them. It's a hit and miss. It might just file exactly the way you want to, and then it might just start eating away at the nail. And then obviously you're not going to use like 100 grit file anyway. I think by that time you're at a coarse grit anyway. But at the same time, it could be how hard you filed. It could be anything. And so I like to cut out the least amount of chances that I take with things going wrong. And before I pause and go finish up and then come back so we can decorate, Let's see, this is for the red, right? Yeah, it's the red one. I'm going to show you guys. Let me tap that a little bit more. See how clean that is? I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me put my hand down, move this out the way, which I probably will knock this over, but I'm going to keep my eye on that. But I don't know if you guys can see that. There's hardly no mess. And look, the shape is still, it's still pretty much there. This is why I use half cover nails. This is why I use the soft gel nails from Not Polished. Oh, why am I taking this? I forgot I gotta finish this hand first before I do this one. Okay, so yeah, I will be back and then we'll decorate and stuff like that. But I know it was like, this is way longer than most of my videos because this was like, oh, here's the beginner thing of the nails. This is my nail journey with that. You know, if you're struggling, I am too. And then it was also combine your points, okay? Safety reasons too. Me personally is why I don't like to use my bank card. I very rarely go to the ATM. If I go to the bank, I go inside. And then even though like my checking account gets cash back, but it's ridiculous. It's like you have to swipe it 12 times. And even though you can go to self-checkout, that's the other thing. If you have any credit cards that tell you, oh, if you do 20 swipes in 1 month, we'll give you 25% more in your points or 50% more in your points, go to self-checkout. Take your same items. I know this sounds time consuming, but you have to scan them anyway. And at self-checkout, you control what you scan when you scan it, right? So just separate, especially if you don't have to spend like a certain amount. That's the other thing with my checking account. It has to be $5.01 per transaction and 12 transactions. And I'm like, it's not worth it. It's not even worth the amount of cash back I get for it. I can do more with my credit cards. So yeah, if your credit card wants you to do that 20 or 30 swipes, like I said, head to self-checkout. That's what we do. And then we just separate our cart that's already there. We don't put anything extra in the cart. We don't care how long it takes because if the swipe could be for $1 or 20 cents and it counts every time we do another purchase, oh yes, we're taking the time to do it. Okay, so I will be right back for you guys. For me, it's going to be about a couple of hours. All right, you guys. See you in a bit. Okay, you guys, so I'm back. I had a few mishaps, but that's okay. I finally finished my nails. Hopefully you guys can see that. When I get finished decorating, then maybe I'll take the camera and try and put it at an angle. So if I hold my hands down, you guys can actually see the charms, okay? And I'll kind of do a little test before I unpause to make sure my hand's like, not like all in your face. Okay, so I don't know how much time has passed. Maybe a couple of hours. I had like I said, one little mishap was that I put the wrong color on the wrong nail after I had already started. This is Black Licorice, like I said. And so I had put the Starlight on there and it covered it right up because it was the first layer of Black Licorice. And then I realized that that was the wrong finger. Okay, so I had to wipe all that stuff off. I tried alcohol and then I used regular nail polish remover to wipe it off, because I didn't want any of the sparklies from the Starlight to be with the Black Licorice. Okay, so I have my Macart rhinestone glue. I'm still using the same jar that I bought, I want to say maybe last year. And I'm not quite sure, what am I doing? Oh, this is the cap. Here's my brush. Okay, so I have my curved tweezers here. And then I have to remember not to put the clock on there. It doesn't say that my package has shipped yet, and I'm expecting it tomorrow. So first I'm gonna start with my little rabbit. He has a little horn. He's cute. Like I said, if I can get it really close, I'll show you guys. Yeah, I think I'll do thumbs first, so I can go thumb in this way like that, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so what I usually do is, if you've never seen any of my videos, is I take some of the rhinestone glue, and it is really, really sticky, okay? But when you put it on your nail, if you do like I do, I top coat, whether I'm going to do a matte coat. Let me get my tweezers here. This might be easier. Or if I'm going to do a shiny coat, then I always do that first. Okay, so I think that's why the charms have a tendency to slide around when I put this stuff on here. And I also put some on my nail. Sometimes I try to do the shape of the charm if I can, so that there's no excess of the rhinestone glue. It does dry clear, but I mean, you just want it to have kind of a clean look. So I'm just brushing this on here, trying to get all the edges. And the hardest thing is flipping it over and being able to flip it over onto your nail and not have it flip over onto this mat. And the other side of this mat is, let me see, I'm trying to size up about where I said I want them. The other side of this mat has cotton, and it's really annoying because if you're on that side and not this other side that's a little smoother, then when your charms fall and you try to pick them up with your tweezers, then you kind of pick up some of the cotton as well. So it's a little frustrating if you use the other side. That's why you guys don't see me using the cotton side anymore. Now, it's very, very rare that you'll see that side of the mat when I'm doing my nails. And then also, so there were a couple things. So with the kit, the Press X soft gel nail kit that you get from Not Polished, if you don't pick the stain resistant top coat, then it defaults to the Gloss-It, and the stain resistant top coat is not as thick as the Gloss-It. So when you put it on there, just a fair warning, then you want to make sure that you put as little as possible. I mean, seriously, because you could take it and keep brushing it and spread it all over the nail and not have to dip it back into the bottle. You could probably do 2 nails like that. So yeah, the stain resistant top coat is, I think, something new they came up with. And like I said, I would just give caution to that. Okay, and I do a 60 second, I still can't talk today. I'm still trying to get my voice back, but I do a 60-second cure for the charms. And usually if I can, I put the whole hand in, but no, it's going to slide. But I don't know if you can see that, but the stain resistant top coat is just as shiny, if not shinier, than the Gloss-It. I don't know which one I would have to say I think is shinier. I like them both. But like I said, Gloss-It's thicker. So even with Gloss-It, put as little as possible. Okay, that's just my word of advice to you, because it's so thick and you can easily put too much. And the way you'll know is like if you do 2 cures of 60 seconds, I try to do only 1 coat, whether it's Gloss-It or whether it's the same resistant top coat that I use. Because I find that if I don't, I have to cure my hands like 3 times for 60 seconds in the lamp. And then I have to watch my fingers over the next couple of hours or like the next day or so to make sure that it didn't ooze down onto my fingers. So to make sure it actually cured. So yeah, I found if you put too much, let's see what was next. That's where I'm going to skip this one and hope the little card guard from, like I said, Alice in Wonderland comes. And in the meantime, I'm going to put this heart on my ring finger. And then, like I said, when I angle the camera, you should be able to see everything, and I can just hold my hands flat. So let me turn this one over. The heart's small, but it's not too small, but I'm definitely going to need the assistance of my tweezers to be able to put this stuff on here because it's super sticky. And I try to get as little as possible on my tweezers because it's so hard to clean off card rhinestone glue on things that are like metal and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really, really careful with this. If you watch my videos, sometimes it could take me, I don't want to say 10 to 15 minutes, but sometimes yes, simply because I know I'm going to have an extremely hard time if I get too much of it onto the tweezers. And you would think like it would ball up. And then let's see, I don't know where I want the heart. Make sure I put on the ring finger. I almost put it on the middle finger. You would think that you could like ball it up and then it will kind of roll off. Kind of like how Gorilla Glue acts, like once it dries. But it all depends on what the Macart rhinestone glue has gotten on. So like if it's on maybe, let's say, your hands, or let's say, I don't know, I don't want to say your nail, because obviously, well, maybe before curing, I can't tell you what would happen after. I guess it would be stuck on there. But you can kind of roll it up into a little ball. I know some people probably use their fingers for this part, and I don't like doing that. That's why it comes with a little brush. But yeah, this is like the kind of the hardest part, because even though this purple side doesn't have that cotton on there, it still will kind of stick to it. But yeah, I love the McCart Rhinestone glue. I don't use anything else. And see, I got some on tweezers. Let me see if I can hold down the thing enough. But yeah, see, if this had cured onto here, that would have been a lot harder for me to do that. Well, now I got some of the paper on there. Yeah, alcohol, 70% or 90% if you find yourself with that problem. And then I do have a paper towel here. Let me grab this real quick. Sometimes I have one on standby and then I should have closed this, but I didn't want to knock it over. This is still the 70% alcohol there. So I think my heart is going to be able to stay in place a little easier. Well, now that I said that, it's starting to slide. I was debating on whether or not I should have used just regular black powder, but I'll at least do like part of a cure. And then I forgot to clean the inside of my lamp, so like I'm putting my hand in with powder all there. So maybe I will use this paper towel to kind of wipe it off and everything like that while we're recording, possibly. I'll see. If I don't have to put my hand back in the lamp, I can do it after I stop recording. But actually what I was going to say was I would use that paper towel to wipe my hands, not the inside of the lamp. I just thought about that. I would get a different paper towel and do that with it. So hopefully this comes out okay. And then I said I was going to not put that in all the way for the full 60 seconds because I still, oh no, that's right, I'm not putting anything else in this hand. I just want to show you the little clock that I was thinking about. And I have another one that's so actually let me check. Yeah, I'm only gonna do 3 charms. Okay, so yeah, I should have kept that in the whole time. But yeah, I have another little clock and it came in this little package, so cute, with palace, and everything is like pink or pink and red. So you know, most of the time you get the lipstick charms and they're red. Well, in this pack, they're pink, and then the sunglasses are pink. There's a cat in there. It's pink. It's like a pretty, I would say like hot pink. And so the clock looks more like kind of like the little, what would you call that? The little, I don't want to say stopwatch, but the, you guys know, pocket watch. I couldn't think of the name. The pocket watch that the rabbit's holding, and he's always checking the time and everything like that. It looks kind of more like that, or more of a, I don't know if you want to say like a more older style. I don't even know what style to call it, but I would have had to paint the surface red. And then I think I would have covered up, like I think it had numbers on it and hands. And so even though it's really pretty and has gold trim and stuff like that, I didn't want to chance having to write numbers back on it because I'm that specific. I will do that. But yeah, let me go ahead and get this paper towel because, like I said, I got powder all on this hand here. And then I like to clean up as I go, so I cleaned up most of the stuff. Well, as you can see, just about everything here on the counter. But I also took some time out to put away some of my stuff. I hate a mess. I don't even know why I put that hand in there, but I hate messes. So I'm gonna put Alice on here, and then maybe I'll put I just flipped her over. Maybe I'll put the charms that actually worked out perfect information in the description box as well, because with the one that has Alice in it, there's different sizes, and then she has on different color dresses. So like on this one, her dress is black. You guys will see it in a second, and then the other dress is either a blue or you might call it teal, but I think it's blue. The blue that's kind of from the movie. And then she also has a light pink dress in this set of charms and different sizes. So some of them would be so big you would say, no, I probably think that's too big for my nails. Unless maybe you like duck nails or something like that, and so you have a wider surface to work with. But I like this pack because it came with an Alice that was just the right size, I think in all 3 colors, so I got to pick. And then there are more of her in there where she's smaller than that, and so I thought that was a really good idea. And so that's why I got the pack. But yeah, I have some charms that have a purse. The brush, sorry about this, you guys, the brush is actually stuck to the charm. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what I was saying. I know I was talking about the charms that I had. Oh, the charms of the last one. If you look at my last video, I had like a purse and everything. I did like Chanel No. 5 nails. And I love pink. You'll be able to tell from that video because all my nails are a different shade of pink in that video. And so I didn't have the pink lipsticks or anything like that yet. So I actually painted the red ones and everything like that. And so I'm just trying to flip her over. Give me a second here. But yeah, in that pack, I still didn't flip her over. It had like a white purse that looked just like the light pink one. Oh, I didn't. Oh, no. I didn't put any on my nail. Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't. I don't want you to think like, oh, okay, so you're saying if you put some on your nail, you put some on the charm, then it's going to stick and stay on the first day. Sometimes yes. Most of the time, yes. Sometimes no. Okay, so you'll find that when you put this in the shape of her dress, her little feet are teeny. Because if you don't make it even, you will see the glob, even though it dries clear. So I really appreciate the fact that they gave a brush so that you can kind of smooth out the rhinestone glue. But yeah, the purses and then the lipsticks, like I said, they're red before I painted them. And so I left all the rest of the other ones red, but I didn't want the same charms. So I decided not to do that. I know that my husband and I were talking. He was like, oh, I really like these charms and everything like that, but I get bored easy. And so I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do the same charms but a different color with a different color set of nails. And I haven't done red in a long time, not even from the nail shop. Okay, so I forgot. Let me put a little bit more on here because when I flipped her over, she hit the mat. So some of it came off. I can see the little parts where it came off. And the last thing I want to do is cure it and not have enough on here. Okay, so now I should be able to flip her over. Maybe and get her onto my nail. It's kind of awkward. Hopefully she sticks enough to kind of rotate her. Okay, let's see. So yeah, I went ahead and I ordered and I thought, I am so happy that we have Prime. Oh, she's cute. Let me get her in the right place so I can cure her real quick. It's about as good as it's gonna get. Let me see me put it in here. I can get it to start. So yeah. I thought, luckily for Prime, and then everything would have been fine if the charms that came on Tuesday instead of yesterday, and if the little guard had been in there. But I told myself, okay, all the charms on my right hand have mainly black, and then all the charms that are on my left hand are going to mainly have red, like the heart's completely red, and then all of it has gold, because these are actually charms that you put on bracelets or that you would probably hang on a necklace if you had like a really skinny chain. And so I thought about it and I was like, if that little man is in there, because it's 300 charms, and I think in someone's picture I only saw one little guard that was from Alice in Wonderland. So hopefully it's in there. And I have 2 packs coming, so at least I'll have 2. One of the reviewers on Amazon said that there were hardly any repeats, and honestly, I really wish that there was a repeat of that, because there is an Alice in there. Her dress is blue from what I saw, and she's a pretty good size, just the right size for nails. And so I'm hoping that he's in there. And seeing as how I switched it up from the clock, this other little rabbit on here, you're gonna see it in a second. It's really cute. Let me turn him over so I can put this stuff in the back. It's like the rabbit when he just has on his little suit. And I kind of didn't mind that. I was gonna put something else on my ring finger, and then I thought about it and I was like, I really like the rabbit. My other charms I got, the rabbit has on a red coat. It's the same exact charm. And then the little part that's red on this one is red on the other one. And so it just was something about it. Like the red was pretty, but it didn't stand out enough to me. So I just went ahead and did this one instead. And like this time, I think I did pretty good, because I tried the technique of getting to the point. Let me see, where am I going to place him? How big is he? Okay. So yeah, I try to get to the point to where I pick the nail, I pick the charm, I pick the color, and then make the video. Because my first videos, like I said, I was just starting out and I was just happy that everything was staying on. And so I I wasn't that strategic just yet, which is odd for me. I'm super organized for the most part, for most things. And so I found it easier. Like I took the swatches and everything and then put the charms next to them and stuff like that. I wanted to be all prepared for when we went to London. So, and knowing that we were going to go to Paris as well, when I got ready to do that video, I believe I made a video of it. I might have to go back and fix the title because I just thought about that. I don't know. I don't even think I put London in the title. London Nails or something like that. I might have. I have to go check. Because we were gone for quite a while. But yeah, I was super organized. I had everything set up. Okay, rabbit. Oh, no. Oh. I got him to stay on there. Okay, now he's big enough for me to actually take my fingers and do it. He's sliding around. This one's going to give me problems. Let's see. I'm trying to decide if I want him tilted. And I tried to file part of that, like the overage from your nail to where your nail and your finger meet on the right side. But that's kind of hard to do with my left hand. So it's throwing off whether or not he's centered. It's not so much of him being centered, it's the fact that he's completely flat. And I have yet, I think it said that these are alloy. And so I have yet to see if I can take a, let's see if I want to tilt it that way or that way. He slanted it that way anyway on his own. I have yet to see if I can round them. Because I believe only on, I would say, like one of my videos, I think you guys got to see me try to round the back, and it was a resin charm. I think it was a teddy bear, so that it matched the curve of the nail. And so it actually worked out pretty well. You know, it was thick enough for me to hold with my hands, and then I was able to just turn it upside down and then kind of like making a little indent in it, and it worked. And I thought, okay, I'll keep up with that habit. And no, I got lazy, and so I left everything else flat. And I don't even remember what drill bit I used to do that, but it worked. It worked so well that when I tried to get it off, and the worst part about it, I think I was still doing half cover nails, so like it broke. Sometimes if I can save the charms, especially like if I'm not sick or anything like that, I will. And the little head broke from the body. So yeah, there was no saving Mr. Teddy Bear. I think it was like head and bow, and then and then body. And I was kind of upset because it was like one of my favorite colors. All the other bears in that pack, they were cute, they just weren't bright enough for me. And so even one of the pinks, but it kind of worked to my advantage that that pink was so light. So yeah, but it was hard to get it off. And so he slid. I guess it's okay. He slid on his own while my hand was in lamp, but that's okay. I like where he is now. This one is a little key, but yeah, the difficult part was, the problem was that whatever part was still on there, the head or the body, was on my finger. And all I had on top of my natural nail obviously was the powder, because it was a half cover tip, like I said. And so that was hard. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. That hurt. That hurt trying to get that off. I just flipped it over and it flipped itself back over before I got ready to put this stuff on here. And it did it again. I was going to tell you that if you're using the other side, it's harder. The problem is that some of the glue has gotten onto the little mat. And yeah, so the key kept sticking to that part. But I think I got it free of that. So let's see. The hard part is going to be the bottom of the key, not the top. The top is shaped like a heart. This is the one where I was wishing that the heart was red, but I was not going to take out the time to paint it. And then plus it would have had to go on the other nail. And I thought that was kind of cool to have the little rabbit with the trumpet and then have the little guard. Because I think when he blows his little trumpet and he's in his little royal clothes, is when the guards come out, right? So I didn't just go Alice in Wonderland theme on my nails this time. I kind of thought about the movie and different parts of it. I have yet to find a Cheshire cat. And then even on Amazon, it was difficult to find. Oh, I gotta paint the nail. Let's see. So I put more at the top and less at the bottom because the key's skinny at the bottom. Let me see, right? I know I don't want it tilted. But yeah, I tried to theme it to different scenes of the movies. Or of the movie. But yeah, there was more than one Alice in Wonderland, so I guess you could say the movies. And then on Amazon, it was difficult to find even stickers, and I don't even use the stickers, so I told myself, don't even bother. I was looking, and I thought, you know, you're not going to use them. Even if you can just peel them off and they have the clear adhesive so that they don't look like stickers that you put in a scrapbook. And so, kind of mad at myself because I have a couple stickers I bought from the store that I told you guys about that's in El Paso, Texas, and I never used any of the stickers. And I'm surprised I didn't use, I'm drawing the line for the little key, the part that goes in the hole. I haven't even used it. I have dragon charms too, and I've yet to use those as well. Okay, so, oh, that's looking kind of, you know what? Better safe than sorry. Let me go ahead and put a little bit more at the top here. I brushed it so smooth I can't tell how much is on there. Let me get that part. That part will go on the little bracelet or something. Okay, let's see. So yeah, I have yet to use the stickers. And then some of them, you know, you have to put them in water, like cut them out, put them in water, and do all this other stuff. And I was like, if I can't peel it, I don't want to use it anyway. And I remember one of the last times I got my nails done at the shop, that's the type of sticker I ended up bringing in, and she was explaining it while she was doing it, and it just seemed like way too much work. And so I thought, I know they have stickers where you can just peel them off and they have the little self-adhesive on the back. Ooh, no. I had it perfect and it turned. This one, I'm thinking there's a product from Not Polished that comes, I think, in a tube. I bought it, and it's to go around like your gems to kind of help with like the fact that they snag in your hair, and then the fact that they need something like a border kind of type thing around it. It kind of holds them in place, and then it just makes it where they don't lift up as easy or pop off as easy. And I bought it, and I don't know where it is. I think it's in the bottom of my train case. But it was like to just kind of go around it to help with the fact that the charms are, I don't know if you want to say 3D or 4D. I know you're probably thinking, what are you doing? Every time I tilt it the way I want it, it tilts back. But yeah, so I have yet to use it, and this little key is frustrating me so much. I might have to pause and find it. I think I have an idea of where it is. Now it's tilted too much. I'm trying to make sure the part that goes in the hole is actually touching my nail, so when it cures, it'll stick. Okay. I think I got it. Give me a second. I gotta hold it really still. But yeah, so I think I see the purpose of it. And I saw them use it, I think, on one of their videos, and it was a really good idea. And I think it, like I said, it's in a tube and you can squeeze it. Let's see here. Gem gel, I think, is what I use for the pixie crystals. I want to say that's what it's called. And I'm not quite sure if that was what they used to like go around the charms that were on someone's nails that they were doing. I don't know if it was one of their nails or someone else's. But it's a good idea because it dries clear. And I debate on sometimes it's very rare. Sometimes I will top coat the charms. For whatever reason. I think if they're flatter than what you're going to see right now, I'm going to do a second cure on this one. But yeah, if they're flatter, then my thought process is, okay, it's not going to look awkward, you know, if I just go over the whole nail on the charm. So it's rare, but sometimes I do that. Especially if they're like, I thought the idea I had was if they're foam pieces, those little ones, I think they call them slices. I don't think they have to be the fruit ones to be called slices. So foam slices or something like that. I can't think of an exact name for them, because when they come, they're just in a plastic bag, and then the little barcode doesn't have like the entire full name. And then, you know, on Amazon, every title for everything has like what, 20 or 30 different words to describe the same thing, I guess, so they can make sure that it falls underneath all the categories that it needs to, so that people can find it, because there's probably, you know, there's different words or different terms for the different types of charms and stuff like that. Some people search it by what they're made out of. Some people just search them by, like I said, slices, nail charm slices or something like that. For these, I do nail charms when I do a search. Oh, I like it. But you know, okay, so I was thinking off camera that the black licorice is going to take some getting used to, because I'm used to it being darker, like a darker black but still sheer. And it looks gray. So I've noticed that something red on top of it looks nice, but everything over here on the charms is black. And I was debating, I have a rose, I'm thinking about putting that rose on there, because it would tie into the red on the rabbits. I think it's his bow tie. And it would tie into the fact that most of my fingers on this hand are red as well. So I'll see, because if I don't do a quick short of everything, like if I get that charm tomorrow, then the other pack is supposed to come within the amount of days I would need it to, so I can have it before the wedding. And then, of course, if I'm going to be traveling, and I can put it in my check bag, like I said, the little light, I put it in that little sunglass case you guys saw earlier. And then I take the step 2 base, like I said, because it air dries and it's the emergency glue for me. It's good to use for half cover tips and stuff like that too as well. So there must have been something else I was doing, or that I was not doing, for the reason why the half cover tips weren't sticking. So yeah, I take the step 2 base everywhere I go. Just be careful, because if it does dry, what happens is the top that comes out breaks off from the stem and the brush. I have a perfectly good bottle over there, and I can't get the top piece off. Well, I can get the top piece off, the knob, but I can't get the part I explained, the plastic with the little brush, out. It's stuck in there, and I tried tweezers and everything, and it's not going to work, and the bottle is full. Like, I'm really upset, because I hate wasting product, but I'm looking at it, and I've been contemplating how to get that out, and that's why I haven't tossed it yet. But yeah, I do take that because it air dries. And like I said, it's the go-to for if these break off, if they don't break themselves like in half or something. I mean, if I have to and I don't have the thicker builder gel and the light that you guys saw, then I have no choice but to use the step 2 base. So that's my replacement, like I said, for nail glue. Okay, so just in case you kind of skipped ahead and didn't hear that part. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm thinking every time I'm talking and I don't do something yet. I just want you guys to know that I'm thinking. I'm like kind of strategizing, if I said that right, because I know I said I was going to angle the camera down, and I have the camera, like I said, lower than usual, my tripod. And so I'm trying to think, am I going to lift up and tilt, or if I'm just going to tilt so that you guys can see. And then I'm going to hold my hands right now. And just in case my little tilt ideal doesn't work, hopefully you guys can see that. But let me top this off. You know what? Let me clean my hands first. I was going to say, because like I said, I know I say it a lot, but I'm clumsy. I will knock this whole bottle over. I've done it before. And it was like a full bottle of alcohol. And I think it was like the 91%. And then it got all on this mat and everything. I probably should be using like nail polish remover or acetone for this part. But I don't know if you're like me, but every time I tell myself, okay, when I do my nails, I'm not going to eat with my hands. I'm going to pick a food for lunch or dinner or whatever where I don't have to use my hands. And then I crave something like French fries or chicken strips or something like that. which you normally would eat with your hands. And so same thing, kind of like when you're gonna relax your hair, you know, you tell yourself not to scratch your scalp, and what do? And that's the day you scratch it the most. It seems like for me, my scalp itches the most when I know that was gonna happen, when I used to get them. Now I don't get the relaxers anymore. I don't do them anymore to my hair. Oh yes, I want to clean this off too. Let me see if I can pick some of this stuff off, because now I got paper towel, or I got the mat, and I got the glue on here. Oh, it worked. Okay, so it worked. And then I just put more paper on there. So if you try this, word of advice, make sure this is really wet with whatever you're using to clean this off. And maybe nail polish remover, acetone would have been better. Okay, so now let's do the tilt, and then let me put this back in here, because if that dries, it will stick to the mat and I won't be able to get it off. Okay, let me move all this stuff out of the way. Check that one more time. I'm gonna leave the clock here, and let me move this paper towel all the way. Oh, you know what? Let me, I'm trying to think, did I do a full cure in this hand? I believe I did. Yes, I did. That's right, because I remembered I'm not attaching the clock. So let me turn this off. And you can use the not polished lamps when they're plugged in, but I try to keep mine charged up. And then really quick, so I told you guys, I promised you guys, if I make a promise, I try not to forget. Okay, so let me hold this still. This is the Young Nails nail file I was talking about. I found it at a nail store, the one, like I said, that's in El Paso, the EP Beauty. And you can see it says 180 and 180, because remember I said earlier, both sides are 180, but this is the, let's see what side's gray. This side is the file side, this side is the buffer side. And I'm gonna tell you, this is like, I call this my miracle file. Especially if I was still using half cover tips and I had to smooth the surface, especially of like the powder that was on my natural nail. And then this one right here, I always tell you guys about this, but if you've never seen my videos, just really quick, this is from Sally Beauty. And you will probably have to order this online. Okay, so this says Tropical Shine, White Lightning, 707511 is the file number. I guess each file has like a number. I guess each item has like an item number, something like that, stock number, something like that. But that's the number of the file again, 707511. This is coarse 100 and medium 180. And it says leaves no color residue. It's washable and it's disinfectable. So that's how I learned that. You also know that you can put in barbicide, but I'm learning, people are telling me to be more careful with barbicide than I've been, and to be using gloves, because they said that I'm not supposed to be getting it like on my skin. And I kind of take the tip and I like this and take it out, and they said, no, you don't want to get barbicide on any part of your skin or your hands. Oops. Okay, so I haven't used my barbicide in a while. But yeah, okay, so soap and water. I think you can cleanse with soap and water as well. But that's the key thing. I believe this is the 180 side, the side of the writing, and then this side is blank. Okay, so that really helps. But the leaves no color residue, I stumbled across this just by accident over a decade ago. I kid you not. And every time one of my files gets old and I need it, because I used to just paint my regular nails and toes, I go back to Sally Beauty and I look, and I had to order this online. I used to be able to just get it from a store, and it might be location, okay, because I used to live in Bakersfield, California, so it might just be there. You can find it in store, and then where I live now, or everywhere else, you would have to order it online. But I hope they never stop selling these. Okay, so again, Tropical Shine and the 707511 White Lightning, no color residue. Okay, sallybeauty.com. I think they're sold individually, but they're worth it. I can't remember the price. Okay, so like I said, I promised you guys I would tell you guys about that, because a lot of people don't like using a drill, and I don't blame you. Okay, and then as you saw, the only thing I had to do was to clean the cuticle area, and I possibly, maybe could have done it with this, but it's just faster. Okay, but I cut out all the drill work of having to go over with the safety bit and, you know, making the surface smooth. I was like, I'm done. Okay, me and half cover nails, we're not friends. We don't associate ourselves with each other. Full cover nails, soft gel nails from not polished is what I do. Okay, so let me hold it down like this. And maybe I should do one hand at a time. And then this is gonna look kind of awkward, but like I said, I'll get a little closer. But here's the rabbit, here's the heart. Like I said, the little guard is gonna go here. And then here's this hand. Maybe I should do it like this. And like I said, don't forget, look in the description box if you want to know like what color it is. Like if you don't want to have to rewind the video and find out like what color I used on one, then here's Alice. And then like I said, if I remember to, I'll put the title and the information for Amazon in the description box for these charms, okay? Because they came in 2 different packs. Okay, so this rabbit here came with her and some other Alice and stuff like that, and another little rabbit was like in a teacup, and then the little rabbit here and the key came in a different pack. The red heart came in a different pack. Okay, so there's gonna be 3 you guys should see. Okay, so let's see what I can do. Okay, to give you guys like another view real quick. Okay, you guys, we're gonna give this a shot. So I did a test with the purple side and the cotton side, and it looked like the purple side was better. Okay, so here are my nails. Let me stay still so it won't blur. Okay, and then here is Alice and the rabbit with his trumpet. And if that's not a trumpet, I'm too tired to remember exactly what type of horn that is. So with his horn, we'll just say that. And I always like my charms to be facing me. I don't like them when they're turned the other way. Because they say when you do this and people see them, you know, they can look at them and see them. I'm like, yeah, but when I look at them, I want them upright. Like I said, I'm very specific with my nails. I'm surprised I've kept the patience to keep doing this because I'm so specific. Okay, so let me see if I can get a view where you can see it the other way. Okay, I'm just gonna step around the other side. I haven't done this in a while. I usually don't stand up and show it, but it's kind of difficult when I like my charms like that. And she's blurry. I haven't done this in a while. There we go. Okay, so yeah, I want to give you guys a close-up look because I'm also really proud of myself. Okay, so let me angle this back up. It's kind of weird talking to you guys with the camera down like this. We'll just chit chat for a couple seconds. All right. So I think the only thing I forgot to show you guys was the little clock. I knew I was going to forget something. Let me see if I can get them off the nail file. And yeah, so it was just the size. It's like the size of a dime. I don't know if you guys can see that. Probably not because I don't have it tilted anymore. Maybe if I put it like this, but it's probably going to slide down. Yes, it is. But yeah, it's cute. And just to give you guys like some ideas, because you're going to have a lot of charms in all these packs. And that is backwards. Oh no. Okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, so this charm, I didn't know it. It's the same clock on both sides. Let's see if I can actually hold this up to where you guys can see that without my nails being like all on the way. Maybe I should use my tweezers. Yeah, let's see if I can do that. But yeah, I did not know that it was on both sides. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see that, but yeah. And I know this is going to be upside down. So I did not know that. I don't know if that would make it easier or harder for it to stick, but I mean, once you cure something on, it should stick really well. Okay, so I would have to say, without having the little guard on there, I don't know if these are my favorite nails that I've done. Okay, I did some half cover tips that I liked. I really like the colors. And I really like the way they look when I first finished them, but having to do a fill, that's the other reason I went to full cover nails. Okay, so you can, I guess, do a fill with full cover nails, but like I said, I get bored super easy, so I'm surprised that I can last 2 to 3 weeks without wanting to change them and actually doing it. Okay, I'm not gonna say I don't want to change them, I just don't. Okay, I just kind of let them get loose enough to where they come off, because part of the removal And of course I told you I clean up everything. The little spatula parts you saw it's flat. And so the nail having an arch, even though my apex of my nail, and if you know what the apex is, it's the curve of your nail, how high up like the arch of your nail is. And so my apex is not that high on some of my nails. Some of them, they're in between like flat and rounded, and some of them are a little higher. But going in there, obviously the whole nail is curved, right? So it does kind of hurt if it's not loose enough. Some of them are stubborn, and within 3 weeks, they're not loose. That's a good thing, and that's a bad thing, because when you want them off, you're like, okay, then what do I do? And then I used to remove the charms first. And when I started using those plastic G28 nails, and now, like, especially since I got sick, the nails, the charms, everything went in the trash. But yeah, usually I take the charms off first, especially when I did half cover tips, but I don't anymore. Okay, so I get the nail off first, and then if I'm going to save the charms, then I take the charms off after, because if the rhinestone glue works as well as it usually does most of the time. I say it has for me, it has like a 90% accuracy. Then you're gonna have to be able to grip the nail and then be able to grip the charm to take it off. And I'd really rather not do that with the nail still on my finger. Okay, so if you want, if like I said, 2 to 3 weeks later, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna have to cut it and soak it. You said they're soft gel, so I can soak them. Yeah, and acetone. Yes, removing 1 or 2 is fairly fast. It's not that difficult, but having to do both hands, I couldn't imagine having to do that. So I'm really happy. I don't mind. And then you're probably thinking, okay, so also another tip, if you're wondering, I've had people ask me, so what do you do when they do come off? Do you do a whole new nail prep, or like say you're at home, all your stuff is at home, or do you just take the thicker builder gel and glue it back on? Sometimes I don't even bother seeing if I need to clean off some of the cuticle. I don't even do the pH bonded again. I don't do the primer again. I'll take the thicker builder gel and then take that light, especially if my husband's home, so he can hold it for me, so I don't have to take the base out, because it's hard to get it back in its box. It's hard to bend it back down so the box closes. And so I'll take the glue and I'll put it right back on there. Now, when I was using Macart solid nail glue, I was able to take 91% alcohol and take that little spatula thing and I would put it on there, it would get wet. And what it would do is, like, I don't want to say it would eat away at it, but it would loosen it up. And I was actually able to hold the nail, and you'll see my videos, I was actually able to kind of push the solid nail glue like off of, I guess you could say, the back of the fake nail. And then I used to re-prep my nails and I used to glue them on, but I don't use Macart solid nail glue anymore. It's easier to use the products from Not Polished, and I like using all the same products. And so now I'm going to tell you, the thicker builder gel, I won't say you can't get it off the back of the nail if you wanted to remove it. I prefer to remove it. I just found that I can't. I haven't found anything that I can use that I can remove it with. The spatula is 70% alcohol, the 91% alcohol. So their product is, I don't know if you want to say, I don't know if it's a quality thing. I don't know if it's like what it's made out of. Maybe the thicker builder gel, I believe it's a gel, right? So you would think, because the Macart solid nail glue, I believe, is a gel glue as well. I have to look at my little jar over there, but it's difficult. Okay, so if you're wondering if you can take this glue off, like say you get it off and the whole nail and the glue comes off with the fake nail like it's supposed to, good luck. I just tell myself it's not worth it. It's not worth trying to get that off. If I'm going to put the nail back on and try and position it, the only thing I've had to do sometimes is take a file, take the 180 side, and kind of take the nail before I put it back on and just kind of smooth out the edges at the bottom, because if not, it'll be kind of sharp putting it back up against your skin fold area where the bottom of your nail meets your skin folds. And so that's the only thing that I end up having to do sometimes. That's rare. Okay, so yeah, I just slap them back on. It's very rare that I'll re-prep, because my nails, I don't think, can take being dehydrated all the time. The pH bond dehydrates your nail. Okay, it actually says dehydrator on the bottle. And then the primer, I guess, helps the thicker builder gel and like your nail to the fake nail to stick onto your fake nail. Okay, and then what I learned about alcohol, if you've never seen any of my videos, I do want to tell you this. So I read, I don't know about 70%, but 91% alcohol actually not just only cleans and disinfects your nails, but it dehydrates them. So can you imagine? I mean, and then if you're doing like the hand filing, or if you're doing the feathering with the sanding band and the drill, right? Lightly, you're supposed to lightly go over your nail and you're trying to just take away the shine. I read somewhere that I don't know if this is true, but if you're taking away the shine off your nail, it's removing some of the moisture. So can you imagine doing the feathering or using this, the 180 side, to kind of rough up the surface of your natural nail? If you're removing the oils, they say you're removing some of the moisture, and then cleaning it off with, some people use 91% alcohol. I stopped using that on my nails as well. I went to 70%. And they take that, and then you saw how I cleaned my nails off earlier in the beginning of the video. And then you're going to go and take the pH dehydrator, the Bond, and you're going to paint that on there. They say don't put a lot, but you're going to paint that on your nail and dehydrate it even more. Okay, so I would have to say all of that is what led to, like I said, I took my nails off one time. I wasn't using the soft gel nails either. I do want to say that. And I don't think it was a good trade nails either, but I took them off. Like I said, it looked like I stuck my finger like in a shredder or like a top of a jigsaw puzzle, or I mean, you know, how the top of a castle is, it looked like that. And I was like, what in the world happened to my nails? And I was like, are our nails different layers, or is it one layer? And I just thinned it out. And then the noise that it makes, because when you take this stuff off, you're going to see a white residue kind of, but it's not so much a residue as it is your nail kind of turned white. Okay, so please don't do what I did thinking, oh, look, it looks like it's coming off. And I was just using like maybe a safety bit. Maybe that's also why, because it's a carbide drill and you're not supposed to use this on your natural nail. Sometimes I would use the sanding band. I was like, oh, look at it, looked like it was coming off. And I was just thinning the layers or layer of my one nail. Like I said, whether it's one piece or whether our nails like our skin, we have different layers of skin. And then when it got to, I think someone told me our nails made out of bone. And so the part where it was broken, it was like crack, 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 crack. And I was like, oh, that is when I realized that was my nail. Yeah, the part that was white was my nail. And so I should take that back. That wasn't residue. That was my nail. It was just, it had turned white, I guess, because of the nails being on there for so long. For whatever reason, it does that. And so, like I said, a month and 3 weeks to 2 months later, before the pink set that you saw, and the pink set was on for 3 weeks. So yeah, every time I get a good run at it and I get a good go at it, then something happens. And so I just share my knowledge with you guys, because I would hate for you guys to like, you see the other videos and do what you want. Obviously it's going to tell you, yes, you're supposed to do this, because if you want it to stick, yes, you're supposed to, you know, do the feathering. And like she said, she doesn't, but she said it's kind of a step that maybe you should do. I think it's personal choice at some point. You know, yes, some people don't like using Bond, the dehydrator, you know, and the primer. Some people say, no, I don't want to use that. And I think the lady I saw that was doing the half cover tips, and I saw her do the dip method with the spoon. I think she said she didn't like either. And so I can't remember exactly what she put on the natural nail prior. I don't know what that was. But her name is Nikki Porter. So go look and then search like dip method with the spoon or something like that. And her friend is in the video. So it's the one where she's sitting there and she's doing her friend's nails, and she's explaining that her friend is going to have to do her other hand after Nikki finishes that hand. Okay, so I don't know her. I just thank her all the time, because let me tell you, the only obstacle I ran into with the spoons is that, you know, the regular spoons, they're meant for eating. And so the size. So I found, especially with the 1 ounce, I put that away too, the 1 ounce jars of powder with not polished, you saw are fairly small. So I learned to start using the tip of those spoons. So if you can find some spoons that are smaller, especially if you like to be able to label them, I just use like the thin black permanent marker, not the regular one with the regular tip. I purposely get the ones with the thin tip so I can actually write on there. And I usually do that first and set it aside to kind of let it dry, because of course I don't want it to smudge on my hands. And then I just do some other things. So like if I'm going to swatch, I'll label the swatch, and then I'll label the spoon, and then I'll get whatever I'm going to swatch to give all that stuff time to dry. Hopefully it has. And I try not to touch it for a while. And then that's how I do it. So as you saw, my spoons were marked. Okay, so it really helps. But yeah, if you're like, you know what, I didn't have any time. I was like you, I was at Walmart. I saw the 100 pack of spoons. I bought them, and then you're right, they were bigger than even the regular 2 ounce jars. The powder's gonna get everywhere. Dip method's kind of messy, but if you're finding it difficult, then the tip of the spoon. And if you have to, stand up. That's another thing I don't know if I've said very often, but because the problem is you don't want to get your fingers so close to the powder, because what happens is that you get a little buildup at the tip of your finger of the powder. And if you don't have, like I said, I call this the miracle file. If you don't have this file, or if you don't have a file that you know works really well, I found metal files, I like them because they also seem to have like that no color transfer thing, or that, however it's worded on here, the no color residue. So metal files that come in those little packs with the little teeny nail clippers and stuff like that. I found the one I have, I actually like it for filing at least the top if I need it to be even again. And so yeah, I use that. Sometimes it's rare if I have to, if I'm out and about and I don't have everything else. But yeah, the key thing is, like I said, is if you want to get away from the gel, then you're going to be in hand files, right? And that's just some tips. Okay, so I know I was going somewhere with that, and I don't know why I don't remember. I'm just probably tired. But yeah, so you guys kind of get the gist of it. You kind of decide like what you want to do and what you don't. Like I said, I also spoke about, and if you didn't see it, the reason why I use full cover tips is so I can skip the clear powder part, because the color powder has a tendency to stain your natural nail. And so if you were to use clear powder, you would do 2 coats. Sometimes I would do 3, and you would only cover, like you would glue on the half cover tip, and then you would only cover about 75 to 80% of your nail. You wouldn't want to be down by the cuticle area just yet. And then you would paint on the base, and then you would sprinkle on the clear powder, and you could do like 3 fingers, and then you go 10-second cure. Then you do the other 2 fingers, only 80% of your nail, and the 10-second cure for that. And then don't forget, you do the same thing. You have a brush to dust off the powder that didn't stick. And the second time you go around and put on the clear powder and the step 2 base, or whatever base you use, then you would go from the cuticle area, or I should say like the area, like I said, where the bottom of your nail meets your skin folds. And then you would paint the base all the way to the tip of the half cover nail, and then you would sprinkle clear powder on there, and you would do all your nails, and then you would put your whole hand in the lamp for 60 seconds. And from then on, it's the dip method that you saw me do. From then on, it's however many layers of powder you want, 60-second cures each time. And then you just decide, like I said, if it's sheer, it's going to be see-through no matter how many times you do it. Some of the colors you're going to find, like this one is the one that glows. And let's see if I can do this. If I hold it, you can see it. I don't know if you can tell how thin that is, or how it looks kind of, not thin, but how it looks kind of see-through. And I know Alice is in the way. Let's see, no, that's not the glow one. Like I said, the reds are almost similar, but the thumbs, that's the same powder. It's the same glow powder, but you saw I put more layers to make it thicker. Okay, so it wouldn't have such a see-through look. And I wanted more of a richer color for the fact that there was some red on the rabbit, but there wasn't a lot. So I wasn't taken away from him, and he fit perfect. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you started the dip method, or if you started using the soft gel nails from Not Polished, if you just started using Not Polished products, if you caught a really good sale, like there's St. Patrick's Day, there's Mother's Day, there is, I think they have Father's Day sale. I think they do, I know they do New Year's or New Year's Eve, one of the two. That's usually the biggest sale of the year. I mean, all throughout the year, almost every month, there might be a 25, maybe a 30%. The lowest I've seen is 20. The highest I've seen is 35, the New Year Eve, whichever one it was. But yes, that's what you want to do. You want to catch the sales with Not Polished, okay? Because you know how you say, the saying is you get what you pay for. There's a reason why their products cost the price that they do. So I try to cut it down as much. And then also, last tip. Okay, so when you go on their website, notpolished.com, no spaces, all lowercase, aside from the sales that you want to look for at the different holidays, different times of the year, then you also want to, if you want, okay, if you, with the duo, you're going to get the gel polish and the regular polish regardless, but it's $12. Some powders are $20, some powders are $15. But if you can buy it as a trio, the trios are $23. So yeah, think about it. Why spend $32 and pay for them separate when you can buy them as a trio with the powder and the duo with the gel and the regular polish inside the duo? Okay, so that's another little thing that I do. Any collections that they have, any bundles that they have, I'm always looking and seeing about the price on top of their discount. Okay, so I don't like paying full price for anything, and so I try to find a way to find discounts for everything. And that's why when I finally got past prepping my natural nails, I went into the trip and I focused on how you do it. Like I said, with the points. So if you have to go back and rewind it, like I said, you might watch the video and do your nails with me, and then you're just like, I just want to see how you do it. And you might skip through, different parts of the video, and then you might go back and listen to the whole thing again. And all you're focused on is, I think that $192, 2 people, round trip, both flights were nonstop. Phoenix to New Jersey, those were nonstop, back and forth. New Jersey to London, nonstop. 2 people, total, all of that, $192. I would have to say, if someone said that on a video, I would go back and just listen to the whole thing again and just listen to that part of it about the points and the cash back and stuff. All of it turns into money. Just keep that in mind. Miles, points, cash back, it all changes to dollars. And then you pick and choose what you want to use it for. And if you want to use it for travel, you can get it down to it. And I mean, remember option 1, I'll say this real quick. So the United flight through Chase Travel, with a Chase Sapphire Reserve card, option number 1, when I said it was $52 after the points, and that was before the $300 annual travel credit. Can you imagine if United did not charge for the seat, the carry-on, and both check bags, whether you're flying domestic or international? Then I could have went ahead and said, okay, I don't care that the tickets are not refundable, they're not exchangeable, I know we're going. And then after that, $52 would have posted to my Chase Sapphire Reserve card. The $300 annual travel credit would have basically erased that. And I would have had some money left over in the travel credit. Because like I said, you have a whole year to use your travel credit before they erase whatever you haven't used. And they give you another $300. Okay, like I said, it's an annual travel credit. Okay, so then, I mean, you go into the lounge. And I mean, you're saving $50 or $60 per person there to get into the lounge because of that Priority Select Pass membership card that comes with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. And that's why I started with Chase Sapphire Reserve, even though it has such a high annual fee. You see how in turn it doesn't. And then I told you guys, go check out the Priority Select Pass memberships. There are 3. The lowest one is $99. I did forget to mention that. The highest one I think is $469, and that's just the membership. And then when you start reading, if you still have to pay to get in and pay like for your guests to get in, then you realize the benefit of finding a card that gives you that Priority Select Pass membership. But Chase by far is the only one I know of where you and 2 guests get in unlimited to all of those airport lounges every year, so long as you have the credit card, for free, complimentary. And like I said, you're going to bypass the fee to get in, and then the food might also be free. The drinks might be free. And sometimes it'll be like, okay, juice, let's say water, and then alcohol, wine and spirits, right? That's what they call it. And then your coffee might cost. Sometimes all of it is free. Okay, so it just all depends on which one you go into. And I can't remember what that one is called. That is, I think it's United, what do you call that? Airport Lounge. But you have access to it through that Priority Select Pass membership that comes. And remember, every authorized user, yes, it's $75 annual for their card. And yes, I mean, having an authorized user on your account is hard because they can charge, right? And you're responsible for the transactions. But if you guys are all in agreement, you do your finances really well together, whomever you decide to do this with, they each get their own Priority Select Pass membership, and they get their own separate number. And then they have an app. So don't worry. If you leave your card, then you can just open up the app and they can scan the QR code. And there's a thing where if you like flip it, it'll say show card number. I think you flip it like swipe and it'll flip it over and it'll show the card number if it's necessary. And then I believe it doesn't flip back over until you do it. Okay, so if you do have to flip it back over, don't quote me on that. But the point is that you will be able to see your card number in the app. But I always have my cards, so you can sign each other in as guests. I like the fact that I'm a member, so I just kind of, when they're like, oh, he already got you and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay, because I have a membership too. I don't know why I feel the need to tell them that. I guess because I'm so proud of myself because I've come a long way. Just really quick, I'll say this and then I'll go. Fixing my credit, I ended up doing it myself. I kid you not, every single time someone will say, I use this debt consolidation company, I don't know, and Anderson something. I remember one of the first times I was like, oh, my friend just used it. I'm going to go. I went to that parking lot. I told you guys the story before. They were gone. Okay. When I say gone, the little letters to stick on the windows for different stores? Gone. All of that was peeled off. You could see like the residue and see like where the letters had been. And then the chairs were inside the tables and that was it. I don't know where they went. And I was like, did they get in trouble? Were they not supposed to be doing what they were doing? I mean, you used them, so it worked. How is it within a couple of days that since you told me, because I went right when she told me, well, at least within less than a week and they were gone poof like that. And then a lot of places that you call, they have fees. So even if they can help you with whatever they're trying to help you like lower, okay, whatever you owe, right? To owe less. It doesn't matter what they're helping you with. So far as the debt consolidation, they have their own fee. And is it worth it? Is the fee going to add back on so much? You're like, okay, well, if I had a hard time paying them, I'm going to have a hard time paying you. So it got down to where I had to do it myself. And so I started working on my credit. And when I met my husband, then I started working on his credit as well. It's going to be a roller coaster. Okay, because every company has 30 days to report. So your score is going to do this. Just watch when your credit card statements close. That's usually the report date. And Discover, you can call them, like say you make a payment. When the payment posts and your balance goes lower, especially if it goes to zero, then a good idea is to just call them and ask them to do an unscheduled reporting or off-schedule reporting because the reporting is electronic. And they'll contact the bureaus, the credit bureaus, and say, hey, this is the new balance, or this is the new credit limit. Okay, so that really helps if you need something to change on your credit like right away. So Discover's really good about that. They're actually a really good credit card company and they have no annual fees. So maybe if you want to know about that, I do have a video. I believe there's a way you can go in and search my videos. And if not, I am so sorry. Okay, you're gonna have to go to like the first or second page of my first videos, and they are PowerPoint slides. Okay, I had everything working against me. I had the skylight, I had the window block, the lighting was changing and stuff like that. The PowerPoint thing would freeze that I was showing from my laptop. It was just really difficult, and that's why I didn't actually do that. That's why going live, you have to be careful. I advise people. I wouldn't do any music because I went live one time and it all went bad. And by the time I proved and did the appeal that I didn't do anything wrong, most of my live was gone and it was like a little bit over an hour. And I actually did pretty well. But yeah, they do the warning, whatever they tell you, but they erase whatever, it is, especially if it's striking out a warning. So it's crazy. But that's basically what happened. So I thought I could do a test live and then I could see, because I think you can share your screen, and then I could like let it upload, like only make it 2 minutes, and then go ahead and then watch it and see what people see. And then of course it's going to take a little bit longer to explain it. So I can erase it after it posts as a video. And then I was like, no, and no. Okay. I no, I'm not that tech savvy. And even if it works, something would be bound to go wrong when it would be time to actually say, okay, this is the real thing. This is what's supposed to stay and upload after I stop going live. After that, it starts to turn into a video to upload to YouTube. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, I couldn't. So yeah, when you have a chance, just go check out the credit cards that I mentioned. Look and see what benefits you. Base it off of what is the purpose you want the credit card for. And then I'm debating. I do have referral credits like Discover. One of my cards has a $100 referral credit. One has a $50 referral credit. If you get approved, you have to make a purchase within 90 days. It doesn't have to be a certain amount. It just has to be within 90 days. And like I said, one referral credit will give you $100 and one will give you $50. So I've been debating, does that make this a paid promotion video? I know, because at this point right now, it's not, right? So I made a video, and in those videos, in that description box, I put those links to where if you're going to, like I tell people, if you're going to jump and, I call it take the plunge and apply for the card, I mean, you might as well. And if you know somebody else, if you want them to get it, ask them to check, and they may not even know that they get the referral credits for that. Like if they have a Discover card, if they have a Chase card, talk to, your friends and family and stuff like that. I would rather that, they get it than me. Okay. So, and then plus it might be a little bit easier. Just make sure you apply with the link that they send you. Or if I do put the links in this description box, or if I put my video and I'm like, okay, go to that one and then go to the description box and click on the link, because I don't want this to be, if it is considered paid promotion, that one's not marked paid promotion either. Okay. So I don't know if it was supposed to be. I'm still learning about that part, and I'm not monetized. So whatever steps you end up having to take to get to that link to apply, or whenever someone sends it to you, just make sure you do it with the link. Even if they refer you to Rakuten, make sure you do it with the link that they sent you. Okay, because the difference is, do you want to get $10 for signing up for Rakuten by yourself, or do you want to get their referral credit, which might be $30, and around the holidays, around Christmas, for some people, their referral credit is $40 per person. Okay, so if you can get your friends and everything together, like I'll refer you, you refer that person, okay, you refer that person. Some people that don't want to do it, whatever their referral credit is that they're going to receive, they have to make a purchase like within 60 or 90 days or whatever. Then you get the same referral credit per person. So it's worth it. And like I said, match that up with the travel. The travel company I'm going to use to travel, is it in Rakuten? If the answer is yes, go to your Rakuten account first, then go to their website, then do your purchase. In the cart, sign up for CapitalOneShopping.com. There should be a little icon, I think it's a little S. Click on that. If it doesn't pop up to ask you if you want to activate the cash back, and then tell it to, and if it has codes, it'll go through all the little codes. If you have a code that's better than that code, don't forget, especially like with Macy's or something like that, to put your code back in. Okay, and then you check out. And then whatever your credit card is going to give you, you still get that. Whatever discount the company was going to give you, you still get that. Macy's is the only one where they started kind of, I think, realizing like, okay, if we give you 25% off, we're not going to do like the cash back for Rakuten. But with the Star Money, all the Star Money did was basically like lower the price itself. I know the discount does too, the discount codes, but the difference is it makes it as if it was $20, oh, now it's going to cost $15. Okay, so there is a difference between Macy's Star Money and their discount codes. Okay, so I do know with Macy's, though, that's one of those companies where you can say, hey, Loretta, I didn't get cash back. If you use a discount code from Macy's, and most of the time your discount code from Macy's is going to be more than what you would get through Rakuten anyway for cash back, but you want to go through Rakuten just in case, and just in case you make a purchase with just Star Money. Okay, because it's not going to really show that anything was discounted. It's just going to show, it's going to be as if you paid that lower price, as if that was the regular price. So that's the difference. So stack your discounts. Or I guess Rakuten, I thought, do they call themselves Rakuten, to rack up your cash back? Stack, rack, however you want to say it, your discounts. And don't forget, you can transfer certain credit cards. You can transfer your points from your credit cards to your airline accounts. It's your reward numbers that you're using, that you're putting in. And with Chase, it's also one other person that lives with you in the house. So you can put their rewards number, and they might have more points than you on Southwest or on United on the actual website. And if they live with you, take their rewards number or Mileage Plus membership number, put it in there, and it's within a matter of seconds. It shouldn't take longer than we'll say 2 to 3 minutes at the most for them to see that you transferred the points to them. And then if you have less points, you might use that for something else, like a hotel or an event or something like that. So get your points collected into one, and that's how you do it. All right, you guys. So stay safe. Thank you for watching. I know this was a lot of information. Some of it you have to just go kind of look and see. If I figure out how to show you this, because a lot of people are going to say, no, I don't believe you. Like, I want to see the numbers. I want you to show that. Chase only holds trips in the itinerary for so long. And then plus I have to think about my personal information, right? And then also, if I were to go live and if I could share the screen, can I unshare and then go to a part I want to share and then start sharing again without messing up the live? You see what I'm saying? So there's other things to learn. So for me, it was just easier for me to explain it to you and tell you, you might want to go back to this video and look at the different cards as I'm talking about them. And then that might be easier for both of us. Okay. So, but if I figure out how to show it to you guys where you visually can see it, then I will. Cause it went from $1,392. Then the 58,000 points took it down to 451. Then the $300 annual travel credit took it down to 151 and some change. And then my husband used his points. And like I said, American Express, I'm explaining this one more time. And then he only got charged. He had to book United as well. So think seat, carry-on check, right? The bags. And then his points knocked it down to where he said he realized, he went back and looked, he thinks that it was the taxes. Okay, so points cannot pay for the taxes of an airline ticket. Okay, so I believe that $40 was the taxes of our tickets from Phoenix to Jersey and then Jersey back to Phoenix once we got back into the US. Okay, so, and then, the boat house in London. When you look, okay, especially if you're in Chase Travel or if you're like an Airbnb, I think they're listed in Airbnb. Go and look in there in London, and I think it's like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, but it's a boat. And I believe it's docked, like it's tied to the dock. Because if it was going to leave the dock, I would say absolutely not. But he found one for $155 for the whole 7 or 8 days that we were going to be there. And so I told him, he said, you wouldn't have stayed on a boat. I said, the price, we'd have been floating on that boat. That's all I could tell you. Okay. If you had told me, I said the week, that was the price for the whole week. And he was like, yes. I said, I wish you had said something. So yes, he said $155. And I believe him because we look at everything we're doing and we go back to the other screen for the other computer. And we're like, okay, oh, wait, yeah, jump on that because on the airline website, the tickets are more. And that's what we do. We like tag team. When we finally decide dates, what card we're going to pay with, what points we're going to use from where, are we going to transfer our points to each other? And that's how we do all our trips. Okay. So like Rome, I'm telling you, the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, I was like $450, $300 annual travel credit. Oh, look at the party select pass membership. You know what? It's worth it. I don't know if Chase is going to mess around with my credit's good, but I don't think it's good enough to get a Chase credit card. And then especially the minimum 10,000 and bam, I applied and they approved me. And so all my bills at that time, I had braces and we were still making payments. Obviously, the retainers hurt and you have to keep wearing the retainers. Even if you can get to just like nighttime, retainers are like a lifelong thing. I don't know if you know that. And so they hurt too much. If you get any dental work, you have to have them remade. Sometimes you have to pay to have them remade and sometimes you don't. So my gap came back and everything is just not as big. And luckily my teeth are back to being straight at the bottom. And so every single thing, gas, groceries, clothes, if you can pay your rents, like some places you can pay your rent with a credit card, everything. Okay. And it comes down to if you need an oil change, if you need some tires, you might have to use that credit card, but I mean, it's a need, right? Even your wants could be a need as well. So we're not talking about new money. We're talking about your current bills, your current expenses. It's not that you're shopping more. It's what you're paying with to shop. Okay. It's what you're paying with to pay your bills, to pay your utilities, to pay your cell phone. Okay. You're just switching your payment method to get the points and the miles and cash back, and also to kind of give a little bit more protection to your bank account. So that's literally how it works. And it's the same thing over and over and over again. When you get into the habit, you will see how much money you can save. And even if you just keep it sitting there, I mean, the points don't expire for most cards. Discover you can transfer to your bank account and just use it for whatever you want. So, I mean, there's so many different things that you can do. But yeah, that's the base of it. And it's just all about repetition after that. All right, you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching Upfront and Honest Reviews. I really, really hope this helps because listen carefully. It does not cost thousands of dollars to travel. Okay. even if you're going overseas, it does not cost thousands of dollars. And don't forget to look at those deals where it's all inclusive, where I believe, I don't know about the airplane, but I think the airplane, the hotel, the food, all the food, the whole entire time you're there, all inclusive means everything is inclusive. Look at those places where when you go there, if they have those deals. And then also, if you know anybody that is in the RCI network, talk to them. Okay, especially if they use it a lot. If they have a timeshare, talk to them, because that's where you'll be able to save. Or if you haven't, you never looked at your own stuff, go look at what you have, because you're not going to lose what you're using with your credit card. You're not going to lose the points that you get with the airlines. You're not going to lose the fact that you can transfer points to yourself or to someone else. What you're gaining is you probably are having discounts and stuff like that, especially if you're still paying on timeshare and you just can't seem to get rid of it. Check it out, especially if you have Grandview, and if you're linked into RCI, go look in there, because as an owner, I mean, $139 a week in Vegas, maybe $169 a week in Florida, like right by Disney World. You see what I'm saying? And then you're going to use the card to pay, and then the travel purchase might be worth 3 points or 5 points or something like that. And then that's going to accumulate in your credit card. And like I said, car rentals, things like that. So the Uber, Lyft rides, stuff like that, all of that's considered travel. So just look at what you have and find out how you can smush it together. And if you have to separate it, watch out for, like, United will say, oh, if you're on the same reservation, you get this. You know, oh, if you're on the same, ticket number, whatever, you get this. Pay attention to that, because I know if that's not the case, then you really can do like what we did. Like I said, really quick. So for Rome, I want to explain this. We purchased one airplane ticket from New Jersey to Rome on one credit card, and we purchased one plane ticket on the other credit card, because I had miles and points on two separate cards. And we just made sure obviously we were on the same flight. I can't remember if the seats were assigned or whatever. And if you travel at 9 p.m., it might be 9:50, but check. I believe it's 9 p.m. at night. I don't know about within the U.S. I do know going overseas, okay, either 9 p.m. or 9:50, I believe 9 p.m. or after, all of your drinks are free, including the alcohol, if you like, wine and things like that, whatever they serve on the airplanes. Yeah, and then you'll get a dinner, you'll get snacks, and you'll get a breakfast about an hour or two maybe before you land. Okay, so that will all be included in your flight, but 9 p.m. is the key thing, okay, to remember. Okay, so if you don't get that, remember, you're like, oh, she said I was supposed to check 9 p.m. or 9:50, but she said she believes it's 9 p.m. Call the airlines and ask to double check and make sure. And like I said, I like free. Okay, there's nothing better than discount than free. Okay, so yeah, that's what we do. And like I said, we get to the airport lounges, we walk in for free. Even if we have to pay for the food, we didn't have to pay to get in. And that's how we do it. I don't know. Some people would call it balling on the budget. Some people would call it budgeting or whatever they want to call it. Some people they say, get out or shut up. Are you serious? And I'm like, yes. And then I show them, and like, oh, you should see the look on their faces. Okay. And then you might have points you didn't even know about. Like, especially like all those times you're booking all those flights. And especially even like for work, the hotel and the car rental and the plane ticket are in your name. So the company's going to end up paying if they pay for it, but you're going to get the points because it has to be in your name so you can check in, or so you can, board the plane, or so you can get the car, right? So that's another thing that you can do. Okay. You might as well go through your account when you're booking it if you have to book your own travel for work anyway. Okay. So that also adds up as well. And Choice Hotels is free. Go to their website, sign up. There's suites. You always want to get the suite. That way you have like some type of kitchen or something. You don't just have, like a living room and a bedroom, or you'll have a bigger room, okay, than what you normally would have. Okay. So, that's our go-to. And then if nothing else, Staybridge, regular price per night, but I mean, complimentary breakfast. My husband always says the breakfast is real. The eggs are real. They're not powdered. And complimentary laundry. You just have to have your own laundry detergent for Staybridge. Even like when you go to, let's say Canada, I don't know about other countries, but even in Canada, like in Edmonton. Okay. So that can be your go-to. You're like, if I'm going to pay this price, look for Staybridge. I mean, especially if you're going to have to do some laundry and stuff like that. So like I said, if I can get it for free, if I get it close to nothing, that's what I do. People call me the discount queen. I don't know. I just say I don't like paying full price for anything. That's how I put it. Okay, so you guys stay safe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.